Chapter 179. 3 days later, Gu Chansha, the fourth, and Liu Baiwei gathered at the calming immortal department's yamen again. At this time, they had brought their trusted and capable subordinates. Gu Chencha's subordinates were Liu Yu and Long Zifei. Liu Baiwei's subordinates were Shi Xiang and a girl called Liu Huayue. This Liu Huayue's aptitude. Gu Chansha was shocked to discover that Liu Huayue's aptitude was comparable to Long Zifei's. The Liu family actually produced such a talent? This kind of talent was enough to prosper a family and establish a strong foundation for hundreds of years. Huayue is a baby girl adopted by my father. Her surname wasn't Liu, but because her biological parents couldn't be found, my father added her into the Liu family genealogy. Liu Baiwei introduced. She and I are like sisters. The 4th and the 19th. Please take care of her in the future. I see. Gu Chansha knew that the Liu family wasn't simple. To be able to recruit such a talent, it wasn't something that could be found with great power. It also depended on luck. Greetings, Your Highness the 4th, Your Highness the 19th. Liu Huayue hurriedly bowed. This girl's expression was cold and quiet. When she spoke, she gave off a feeling that she didn't belong to the mortal world. After careful observation, one would feel that she was mysterious and dignified. Her temperament surpassed many noble princesses. Since she is Baiwei's sister, I can't be stingy. Here is a bottle of purple blood rejuvenation pill. In the future, the calming immortal department will encounter many battles. One more pill will reduce the damage. Gu Chansha took out a greeting gift. Thank you, Your Highness the 19th. Liu Huayue accepted it graciously. 19th, you are so extravagant. I'm also affected by you. The 4th smiled bitterly and also took out a pill as a greeting gift. The 4th, what kind of fortuitous encounter did you have recently? This is a 60-year yang restoration pill. Liu Baiwei looked at the pill. It was black and white, floating up and down in the bottle. This pill seemed to be alive. If a cultivator's lifespan is up, they can use it to extend their life for 60 years. Many old guys in the celestial Tao want it. This isn't anything good either. The 4th scoffed. If you can't break through when your lifespan is up, then you really won't be able to. Using pills to extend your life is just like that. Sister Huayu, our calm celestial department will have many dealings with the celestial path in the future. You don't need to use this pill. Just sell it to those old fellows at Tao Realm Transformation 7 or 8, or those who have lived for close to 300 years but haven't revived. They are about to die, and if they have a pill that can extend their lifespan for 60 years, they can even give up their lives. Without cultivating the Tao Realm 9 Transformation Glass J-Body, one could at most live for 150 years. At that age, no matter how high one's cultivation was, a large amount of energy would be lost, and one would face many tribulations. This was the natural law of heaven and earth, and one couldn't go against it. With the glass J-body, one's lifespan would be doubled to 300 years. But after 300, one's body would age really quickly. Only when one reached Tao Realm Transformation 16 would one be able to find a new body. However, every time he reincarnated, his soul would weaken a little and his cultivation would drop. If he reincarnated a few times, he would really die and disappear from the world. Since ancient times, cultivation was filled with tribulations, and many people from the celestial sects died of old age. Thank you, Your Highness. Liu Huayue was also a subordinate. Gu Chansha sized up the 4th subordinates. The 4th didn't have many subordinates, just 3 of them. They were all geniuses and they weren't old, around 12 to 13 years old. 4th brother, it seems like you haven't brought out any real talents. 19th brother brought out Long Zifei, and I brought out Huayue. You should have people like that under your command, Liu Baiwei said. Do you think that geniuses are cabbages? Only the 2 of you don't know how lucky you are. No wonder father has high hopes for the 2 of you. The 4th Gu Huasha scolded. Gu Chansha and Liu Baiwei looked at one another and knew that the 4th was speaking the truth. The 4th was a top talent, and it wasn't so easy to get a top talent as a subordinate. Okay, Calm Celestial Department only has the few of us. All of you are maids in my residence, or warriors under 19 or the 4th. That was a private system and didn't belong to the government. But now that you have entered, you have a rank. You belong to the government, and your identities are different. Since you are paid, you have to work for the government. Lu Baiwe waved her hands. Our calm celestial department is different from normal departments. We give you money and pills. We will also give you armor and weapons. We will even give you treasures. But remember, don't take anything for yourself. Otherwise, the law will be merciless. Yes, everyone present was an outstanding person. How could they not know how powerful this was? They all agreed in unison. I've already explained the division of labor and structure of the Celestial Commerce Department. Gather for a meeting later and discuss how to carry out the registration of the Immortal Tao sect, as well as the collection of taxes from the Immortal Tao, Lu Baiwei ordered again. This subordinate will not disappoint you. Good, then you may leave. Lu Baiwei dismissed these people before saying, we will immediately head to the burial grounds. I believe that the Immortal Tao sects, demonic Tao sects, and even barbarian experts have already gathered there. Yes, our calm celestial department is investigating the Immortal Tao, taking back the demonic Tao, and returning them to the righteous path. We will register them one by one and collect taxes. This time we can go to the burial grounds and see those of the Immortal Tao. We can also implement our calm celestial department's policies. The fourth thought long-term. Yes, this is killing two birds with one stone. Gu Qinsha nodded. 19. This time, His Majesty has allocated the wealth of the calm celestial department. Aside from the 9 sacred dragons, the most precious thing is the divine dragon armor. You can wear it. Lu Baiwei said, after we return from the burial grounds, we will return it to the department. According to the rules of the Imperial Court, that armor is meant to be worn on a mission, not for personal gain. Forget it. Although the divine dragon armor is powerful, the king's dragon armor on me has been refined by me for many days. I have already mastered it and mastered it. If it were something else, it might not be able to use it as well. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Of the 4 transcendent artifacts on him, the heaven offering decree merged into his mind, the dragonization pagoda merged into his dantian, and the demon's subduing blade and king's dragon armor turned into a belt that wrapped around his body. With a thought, he could wear them and hold them in his hand. That's true. Since you have refined a treasure that belongs to you, there is no need to neglect the essentials. No matter how talented the children of other families are, they are not as good as our own, the fourth said. If that's the case, let's move out immediately. Lu Baiwei waved her hand, and her innate gangqi wrapped around the 10,000 miles flying cloud flag. With a clap of thunder, the 3 of them disappeared without a trace. Seeing this, Gu Qinsha knew that she was already proficient in using the 10,000 miles flying cloud flag. This flag was an ancient treasure that he had obtained from the immortal worship hall of the Zhou Palace. It was miraculous and far surpassed ordinary immortal treasures. Even among the treasures of the ancient 72 Orthodox sects, there were only a few that could compare to this treasure. After a few dozen breaths, the power of the 10,000 miles flying cloud flag spread out, and the 3 of them arrived at the edge of the burial grounds. This place was hundreds of thousands of miles away from the border, and they were already deep in the wilderness. The fog here is much thinner. Gu Qinsha was shocked to discover that the last time he came here with Lu Baiwei, there was a thick fog that lingered all year round. Deep inside, they could not even see their own fingers. But now, the fog was thin, and they could see the mountains of bones. There were white bones everywhere. There were humans and beasts, and they were piled up into a huge mountain. No one knew how many miles it was. The world has changed, and the poisonous fog has dispersed. This means that the seal of the burial grounds has disappeared, and all the demons and ghosts will come out. The fourth was worried. Yesterday, I received news that the seal of Father under the endless sea of sin has been broken, and demons have appeared in the central Sin province. Marquis Calming Sea has sent people to kill them. There are so many things in the world. Lu Baiwei shook her head, but we don't have to worry too much. The situation in front of us is just a test. It's just a skin disease. I think the tribulation of the way of heaven can only create this little bit of trouble. You have completely refined this 10,000 miles flying cloud flag. Gu Qinsha said, then we have a lot more confidence. Not only that, I can also use 30 to 40% of the power of the Xuanhao dragon ship. According to the normal operation of this dragon ship, it needs 81 boatmen who have cultivated the glazed jade body to continuously input their innate gang qi. Only then can the dragon ship move, soar into the sky, and use 20% of its power. Lu Baiyue took the initiative to say, fortunately, my great massacre divine technique has endless innate gang qi. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to move this ship at all. It needs 81 cultivators who have cultivated the glazed jade body to operate a magic weapon. You can operate it alone? The fourth bowed repeatedly. I really admire you. What is this? If my cultivation goes further, I can sweep away all the inborn saints. Lu Baiyue was very domineering as she spoke. But this is not my ability. It is the power of the Emperor's cultivation method. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as the three of them were talking, a few rays of light came from the distance. They did not stop and went deep into the burial grounds. Gu Qinsha could clearly see that there were people using innate gang qi and magic treasures to fly at high speed. They were all experts among experts. Things are getting interesting. The fourth said, looks like this burial ground is going to be an eye-opener for us. I have never seen a scene where the real experts of the immortal Tao are as numerous as clouds. Gu Qinsha said, it's just that during the imperial court, when Father tore open space and captured Elder Wang Ji of the Crimson Firmament Profound Sect, I saw that the entire Crimson Firmament Profound Sect was grand and majestic. It formed its own space and time, and there were immortals like rain. That scene was truly majestic. It made me feel like I had returned to the primordial era. The Crimson Firmament Profound Sect is not considered strong among the 72 sections. The strongest, the Black Heaven Earth sect, is truly as vast as the Heavenly Tao. The fourth seemed to have been to the Black Heaven Earth sect before. Let's go deep inside as well. We can't be ostentatious and hide our auras, Lu Baiyue said. Just as the three of them were hiding their auras, another ray of golden light flew over from the sky. However, this golden light seemed to have discovered the three of them. It suddenly descended, and the light dispersed. It was actually an old man dressed in Taoist robes. He was tall and had bright eyes that could see through one's heart. Chapter 180. Who are you? The three glanced at each other. The fourth stepped forward and asked, don't you know that the imperial court forbids the immortal Tao from recruiting disciples at will? If you want to recruit a disciple, you have to register and pass the imperial court's inspection. Which sect are you from? So casually? You're already breaking the law. Imperial court? Which imperial court? This old immortal has been in seclusion for 100 years. I sensed the great changes in the world and came out. The old man's eyes were sharp. Since when did mortals dare to interfere with the affairs of the immortal Tao? You're from the imperial court? What dynasty is it now? So you're a cultivator who has been in seclusion for many years and doesn't know about the change of dynasties. Gu Qinsha also knew that the Heavenly Talisman dynasty had only been established for 15 years, which was nothing to the immortal Tao. Some immortal Tao cultivators had been in seclusion for decades and basically didn't care about the affairs of the mortal world. To the immortal Tao, cultivating qi and comprehending the great Tao were the most important things. The changes of the imperial court were like ants moving house. Not many people cared about it. Since you don't know, I'll explain it to you. Lu Baiyue said, now, it's the Heavenly Talisman dynasty. The imperial court has conquered 100 countries and unified the world. The emperor is invincible and has investigated the 4 paths of immortal, demon, and God. If you want to take a disciple, I'm the department head of the newly established Calming Immortal Bureau. Report what sect it is and how many assets it has. After registering everything, paying taxes, and learning the laws of the imperial court, you can take a disciple. The old man's eyes widened, and he looked at Lu Baiyue like she was crazy. Before she finished, he flicked his sleeves. Little girl, are you crazy? Nonsense. I don't know what you're talking about. As he flicked his sleeves, astral energy surged, pushing Gu Chunsha and Lu Baiwei away and sweeping the fourth away. When the astral energy touched Gu Chunsha, the dragonization pagoda in his body moved slightly and absorbed a portion of the astral energy, turning it into dragon energy inside the pagoda. He could even see the many formations inside the dragonized pagoda operating nonstop. The energy of the innate stellar energy was dispersed, and after countless vibrations, it fused with the sun and moon dragon blood in his body, turning into streams of tiny dragon-shaped runes. That stream of air was the dragon chi. As long as enough dragon chi was accumulated for a person to absorb, it could be like the tiger wolf pill, improving a person's aptitude. Dragon chi was more mysterious than the tiger wolf pill. However, it was extremely difficult to accumulate dragon energy. Ever since Gu Chansha cultivated the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, all the accumulated dragon energy had yet to allow him to attain superior grade aptitude. This was because the Dragon Transformation Pagoda was actually not complete. It was merely an imitation of the Dragon Gate of the Great Desolate Era. In addition, his own cultivation was not high, so it was difficult for him to unleash the might of the pagoda. Luckily, since he returned from the Bone Burial Land, he cultivated hard for 3 months and comprehended the Great Massacre God technique and all sorts of other things. He used his heart to build up the clumsy fist cultivation system. Although he didn't break through to the Tao Realm 6 transformation, his strength was at least 2 to 3 times stronger than before. If Hung Budong were to fight him now, he might not be able to kill him. Did I make a mistake? Kid, you seem to have consumed some treasure. Your vital energy is actually shining. Although you used a special technique to hide it, I have never seen such a treasure. Are you not a human, but some kind of spiritual herb that formed your human form? Okay, I will bring you back to refined pills. As for you, although you speak nonsense, I can see that you have a few treasures on you. Since you are from the dynasty, then don't stay in the mortal world. I will give you all your celestial fate. Follow me back to the mountain. The old man released large amounts of Xiantian energy, which wrapped up the 3 of them. His cultivation was really terrifying, and it was obvious that he was an amazing old monster in the celestial path. Scoff. Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiwei, and Gu Huasha scoffed coldly at the same time. They all felt that this old man was really lawless and despicable. He actually forcefully snatched. Although he cultivated the celestial path Xianmin sect technique, his actions were close to that of the demon path. Disregarding the law and forcefully snatching, according to the law, you should be killed. Lu Baiwei was the first to be angered. Not to mention her, even Gu Qinsha, who had a gentle personality, a deep cultivation of qi, a clean mind, and a calm will, also had a fire. Crackle. A black lotus appeared above Lu Baiwei's head and flashed slightly. Large amounts of black lightning surged out like a tide, destroying everything in its path. The old man's Xiantian energy was completely blown away. What kind of cultivation did Lu Baiwei have? Back when she dual cultivated with Gu Qinsha, she fused the sun and moon dragon blood, exchanged techniques, and combined the great massacre god art with the son of heaven's god bestowal art. She comprehended even more and was evenly matched with Li Wangsheng. Who was Li Wangsheng? He was the son of the monster race, Saint Li Wanlong. He was a top talent in the 10,000 Dragon Nest, and his cultivation exceeded many of the old people in the celestial path. Now, after 3 months of hard work, Lu Baiwei comprehended the technique, and her cultivation rose by 2 more realms. She reached Tao Realm Transformation 11, Soul Tentacle. She could use the power of the soul, and her combat strength was much higher than when she fought Li Wangsheng. Great Massacre, God Techniques, God Slaying Lightning. Gu Qinsha saw through what kind of ability Lu Baiwei was using right away. Out of the many celestial path techniques, in terms of destructive strength, of course, they were all lightning techniques. The theory of lightning techniques was the rubbing of Xiantian energy. They rotated within, changing one another, and then exploding out to clear the world. Every clan and sect had their own thunder techniques. For example, when Guchan Sha and Lei Tianhui fought last time, Lei Tianhui used a lightning tribulation technique. As for the Great Massacre God technique's lightning energy, it was thousands of times better than the Lei family's technique. The moment the god slaying lightning appeared, it brought with it an ancient aura. It was like the most ancient and inauspicious energy, the energy of destruction. It once again passed through space and descended upon the world. To use lightning techniques, one needed extremely strong mental strength and thick Xiantian energy. If one's Xiantian energy wasn't thick, one wouldn't be able to form lightning. If one's mental strength wasn't strong, one wouldn't be able to control lightning. Instead, one's Xiantian energy would go out of control and one wouldn't even be left. Moreover, no matter how strong one was, using lightning techniques would consume a lot of Xiantian energy and one's mental strength. Often, one would only be able to strike a few times or even dozens of times. Liu Baiyue's thunder art was able to unleash a large amount of lightning in one go. It was something that no one had ever heard of, let alone seen. Art of Dragon Nurturing, Absorb. At this moment, Gu Chansha also circulated the mental cultivation technique he had comprehended. All the pores on his body opened up, and before the Xiantian energy could dissipate, it was sucked into his body, into his Dantian, and into the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. He didn't make a move, but continued to absorb. The old man's Xiantian energy was extremely pure. If it was a one-on-one fight, Gu Qinsha wouldn't be able to absorb it, because the old man could retract it with just a thought. He could even cause havoc in Gu Qinsha's body, and the Dragon Transformation Pagoda might not be able to suppress it. However, Liu Baiyue's god-slaying lightning was extremely destructive, and it shattered the old man's Xiantian energy, giving Gu Qinsha an opportunity. Gu Qinsha didn't waste the past 3 months. From the Great Massacre God technique and the Great Devouring Spirit art, he comprehended some absorption techniques, and the speed at which he absorbed the Xiantian energy was significantly faster. His pores opened up, and his body flickered, absorbing the thousands of scattered Xiantian energy. Creak, creak. After the Dragon Transformation Pagoda in his Dantian absorbed the Xiantian energy, it started to spin. Sun, Moon, Dragon, Fire. He secretly sacrificed some essence blood, and through the heaven's sacrificial talisman, he attracted the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Fire to speed up the refinement. Therefore, within the Dragon Transformation Pagoda in his body, a rice grain-sized Dragon Transformation inner core was condensed. The Dragon Transformation inner core was made of pure liquid, and it was condensed from Dragon Chi. I've finally condensed the Dragon Chi, this drop of Dragon Transformation inner core. Gu Qinsha was overjoyed. If this Dragon Transformation inner core was given to an ordinary fool, he would instantly become a top-grade talent. The Tiger Wolf core allowed one to have mid-grade talent, and this Dragon Transformation inner core could promote one to a top-grade talent. According to the grade of the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, as long as there was enough Dragon Transformation inner core, it could even turn a fool into a genius. If it was the Desolate Dragon sect, it could even turn one into a true innate sage. If I accumulate another 10 drops of Dragon Transformation inner core, I should be able to turn my talent into a genius. This shows that talent isn't determined by the heavens, and can only be obtained through acquired means. In the blink of an eye, Gu Chansha integrated the Dragon Transformation inner core into his body and raised his talent. ZZZ, ZZZ. The moment the Dragon Transformation inner core merged into his body, he seemed to have comprehended something and became much smarter. Some of the martial arts questions that he couldn't understand seemed to have been enlightened. This was the increase in talent. After his talent increased, it seemed like he might be able to comprehend the Tao Realm 6 transformation and cultivate Xiantian Earth energy. It only took him an instant to absorb the Earth energy and condense the Dragon Transformation inner core. Liu Baiyue closed in, and in that instant, thousands of God-desolate lightning bolts were released from the Black Lotus. They actually had the power to destroy the world, and the destructive power was even stronger than the demon destroying the world that Li Wangxing used. The old man's Xiantian earth energy dissipated, but he was really strong. He hollered, and a golden light rose up around his body. It was as thick as a canopy, and he tried to block the god-desolate lightning. But at that moment, the fourth moved. His body seemed to be able to teleport, and he appeared in front of the old man. He punched and pressed down. My heart is in the outer sky. This was his own Tao. Hung Long. With just one punch, the old man's golden light was extinguished. Then Lu Baiyue's god desolate lightning landed on his body, and there was the sound of a meteor crashing into the ground. Pung! The old man was smashed a few miles away, and he fell into the pile of bones. His body was tattered, and blood flowed nonstop. The three of them were like shadows, surrounding the old man. The old man spat out a mouthful of blood and barely stood up. He stared at the three of them. Who are you? Chapter 181. What kind of cultivation technique is that? Why have I never seen it before? And you, little girl, why do you have such dense innate stellar chi? The elder struggled to get up, but due to his severe injuries, he did not dare to act rashly. Based on his experience, the three of them were all inconceivable. Their cultivations surpassed the scope of his understanding. Seal him and capture him. We'll interrogate him slowly. The fourth took a step forward and was about to attack when a voice suddenly came from afar. Have mercy! A man holding a folding fan and dressed in the uniform of the imperial court descended from the sky. He immediately knelt on one knee and greeted. This lowly official, Jin Suibois, pays his respects to Princess Yuefu and the two kings. Jin Suibois. Lu Baiwa looked at the man and frowned. You are 7th Prince's advisor, an elder of the unbounded heavenly sect who was recommended by 7th Prince. Now, you are one of the 5 commanders of the Iron Blood Guard under Marquis Ironblood. This person was 7th Prince Gafas's advisor, Mr. Jin. Jin Suibois, you are an elder of the unbounded heavenly sect, yet you are working for the imperial court in a mortal world. What happened? The elder recognized him. The two of them seemed to be very familiar. Taoist brother Luo Xiao, I remember that you were cultivating the 3 primordial extreme Tao force in seclusion. Have you finally mastered it? You do not understand the current situation. Do not act rashly. Let me explain. Jin Suibois stood up and said to Lu Baiwei, Princess Yuefu, 2 kings, Taoist brother Luo Xiao, was once a good friend of mine. He is the sect master of the 3 primordial sect. Although he does not belong to the ancient 72 sects, his influence is not small. He is famous in the immortal Tao. He has once vanquished demons and has always been meritorious. This time, he offended the 3 of you because he was ignorant and did not know the changes in the world. I hope the 3 of you can forgive him and allow him to redeem himself. Jin Suibois, what are you doing here? Lu Baiwei ignored him and asked instead. There are demons roaming about here. I'm afraid there's trouble. The Iron Blood Marquis ordered me to investigate. Jin Suibois said, Then do you know that I received orders from His Majesty to establish the Celestial Commerce Department? Your brother Luo Xiao not only disobeyed orders, he also committed treason and attacked a prince. Even the ancient 72 sects would be exterminated for such a crime. How did your limitless celestial sect get destroyed back then? You should still remember, right? The fourth spoke. He was not polite at all. He did not care about this former elder of the limitless heavenly sect. Gu Qinsha, on the other hand, was a reserved person. He observed the changes without saying anything. What? The limitless heavenly sect was destroyed? The old man Luo Xiao's expression changed drastically. Brother, the limitless heavenly sect disobeyed the orders of the imperial court. His Majesty tore apart the mountain gate and exterminated the entire sect. As a sinner, I was tempered by the 7th Prince to redeem myself. Now that I'm working for the imperial court, I don't dare to have any improper thoughts. Jin Suibois said, The current emperor has completely surpassed the ancient emperor and suppressed the gods of good and evil. The ancient 72 sects have no choice but to listen to his orders. Brother, you must not make a mistake and listen to the arrangements of the Celestial Commerce Department. Obediently register the situation of your sect and pay taxes. As the first sect to listen to the Imperial Court's arrangements, you might receive great benefits. Brother Jean, killing intent appeared in the old man Luo Xiu's eyes. Jean Suibois hurriedly went up and pressed on the old man Luo Xiu's shoulder. Brother, you must not act rashly. Let me explain the current situation to you. My time is limited. Lu Baiwa looked at the sky. Make a decision quickly. You're called Luo Xiu, right? 3 extreme sects, sect master. I'll suppress you and talk to you later. Wait a moment. Jean Suibois knelt on one knee again. Princess, when the Celestial Commerce Department was first established, it should focus on conciliation. I once had some influence in the Celestial Dao and am willing to be at the Celestial Commerce Department's beck and call. I'll make those Celestial Dao sects obediently obey the law, pay taxes, and register them. Oh, Lu Baiwei retracted her palm. Jean Suibois, why are you helping me? You're old Sevens man. Do you want to betray your master? That's not a very good reputation. I was recommended by His Highness Seventh, but I'm also an official of the Imperial Court. I'm loyal to the Imperial Court and His Majesty. Is that not okay? Even His Highness Seventh has to be loyal to His Majesty. I'm still very clear on what is great loyalty and what is small loyalty, Jean Suibois said sincerely. Very good. Lu Baiwei clasped her hands behind her back. I'll give you an hour. How about you convince this Luo Xiu so that you can fulfill your friendship? Many thanks, Princess. Jean Suibois' face lit up with joy. He then pulled Luo Xiu and said something to him. Luo Xiu's face darkened as he listened. After his anger, there was a hint of fear. Finally, it turned into fear. His expression changed a few times, and no one knew what he was thinking. Almost an hour later, Luo Xiu came over under Jean Suibois' lead. He knelt on one knee in front of Lu Baiwei. This lowly deity pays his respects to Princess Yuefu. This lowly deity didn't know the might of the Imperial Court and offended you. This lowly deity deserves death. This lowly deity is willing to make amends by registering with the Celestial Commerce Department and paying taxes. Very good. Register your sect's members, assets, cultivation base, treasures, and inventory. After that, the Imperial Court will collect taxes according to your sect's headcount and property. Since you're the first sect to submit to the Imperial Court, you'll be given a discount. Lu Baiwei didn't bat an eyelid and did things according to the rules. Yes, Luo Xiu took out a booklet from his bosom. This lowly deity is the sect leader of the 3 extreme sect. I have the name list of my sect and assets with me. I can give them to the Imperial Court. As for the taxes, this lowly deity doesn't have that many assets on me. Can you record them down for now? When this lowly deity returns to the sect, I'll take out enough taxes and hand them over to the Celestial Commerce Department 3 days later. Since you've said so, and the Imperial Court isn't an unreasonable person, you can go ahead. Lu Baiwei waved her hand and kept the 2 booklets. 3 days later, you can go to the Celestial Commerce Department to pay the taxes yourself. You can also send a disciple over. After paying the taxes, your sect will have the authority to accept disciples from anywhere in the world. However, you'll have to get the other party's permission to accept disciples. At the same time, you'll have to come to my Celestial Commerce Department to register. Yes. Luo Xiu hurriedly replied. Let's go. Lu Baiwei took the lead and flew into the depths of the burial grounds. Gu Qinsha and the 4th follow behind. Baiwei, I don't think that Luo Xiu will be convinced at all. I'm afraid that he won't really deliver the taxes 3 days later. I think we can place a restriction on him. There's no need. Even if we place a restriction, he can find someone to undo it. Lu Baiwei waved her hand. Moreover, it's not good for the Imperial Court to be too stingy. He's committed a great crime this time, so let's record for now. If he goes back on his word, it'll add to his crime. When the time comes, we'll start with his sect. Moreover, I think that Jean Suibois might really persuade him to pay the taxes. What do you think Jean Suibois is thinking? What kind of trick is he playing? Gu Qinsha pondered. I keep getting the feeling that he's not very loyal to Old Seven, but he doesn't want to rely on us either. As for loyalty to the imperial court, that's even more unreliable. Regardless of what he thinks, our calming immortal department does indeed need people like him to go around persuading the smaller immortal Tao sections. The ancient 72 sects have their own dignity. They won't submit to the imperial court for the time being. We can't do anything about the 72 sects, so we can only clean up the smaller sects first. The fourth also had his own ideas. However, I think that forcibly collecting taxes might cause a backlash. I think we should still give them some benefits, using both carrot and stick. Our current savings are shallow, and there's nothing to give. Lu Baiwe frowned. I'll consider this matter. The immortal Tao isn't peaceful either, and the sects fight with each other. Perhaps we can start from this aspect. Yes, I think that the imperial court can intervene in the grievances between the immortal Tao sections. Gu Qinsha said, we can help the weaker ones, and they'll naturally rely on the imperial court. That works too. Lu Baiyue's eyes lit up. In the end, our calming immortal department is still too weak. Let's go and snatch Buzhou Palace. If my cultivation improves a few more times, and my soul leaves the body, then I can even take a look at the ancient 72 sections. Lu Baiyue's cultivation was at Tao Realm Transformation 11, Soul Tentacle. She still had to cross Soul Snatching at Transformation 12, Demon Swallowing and Ghost Eating at Transformation 13, and Soul Leaving the Body at Transformation 14. Only when her soul left the body would she be able to use the power of the soul. The Great Massacre God techniques, killing strength, would increase by at least 10 times. Even some experts above Tao Realm Transformation 20 wouldn't be able to do anything to her. Moreover, she could truly activate the vast Thousand Mirror, Dragon Ship, 10,000-mile flying cloud flag, and some other treasures on her body. The current Lu Baiyue was a terrifying person. Seeing how she defeated Luo Xiao, one could tell how strong she was. At that moment, Luo Xiao and Jin Suibwa stood on the spot and looked on as the three of them left. Unprecedented hatred appeared on Luo Xiao's face. Brother Jin, I know what you said just now. Are the celestial sects really going to submit to the imperial court? Since ancient times, the imperial court has never collected taxes from the celestial path. Even the ancient emperors didn't dare to do that. So what if they are ancient emperors? They can't even compare to the Heaven Talisman Emperor. If we submit now, we won't suffer any losses. Jin Suebu's eyes swirled. Brother Jin, I have seen it clearly. We were good friends in the past, and I am afraid that you will suffer losses. I know that you have been in secluded meditation for 100 years, and your cultivation has improved, but you are definitely not a match for Lu Baiyue. Is the Great Massacre God technique really so strong? Luo Xiao was unhappy. I was too careless and didn't use many of my skills. Even if you execute it, it's all in vain. You haven't truly witnessed the power of the Great Massacre divine art. All cultivation techniques have their own limits. Innate astral energy can't be limitless, but the Great Massacre divine art is truly inexhaustible. Jin Sibwa said, Lu Baiyue is the true successor of the Heaven Talisman Emperor. She's the only one who has cultivated the Great Massacre God technique. It is normal that you are not her match. Do I really have to pay taxes? Evil flames rose in Luo Xiao's heart again. Of course, if you don't pay taxes, they will dare to attack the sect and exterminate you. Moreover, without the Celestial Path sects to help you, the Black Heaven Earth sect and a nest of 10,000 dragons were humiliated. They even endured it. So why can't you? And if you endure it, who knows, in the future, when the Black Heaven Earth sect falls, your three extreme sect might have a chance to rise again. You are also a person with deep cultivation. Can't you see that the world has changed and a new era has arrived? Jin Suebu said. Then in Brother Jin's opinion, what should I do? Luo Xiao said doubtfully. I know that Brother Jin has been hiding in the dark and has already mastered the many Tao techniques recorded in the Peerless Heavenly Book. I can only follow your lead. Chapter 182. Submit to the Imperial Court? What do you mean? Luo Xiao muttered. We celestial cultivators are high above. Even if a random disciple comes to the mortal world, the emperor has to respectfully call him immortal. 200 years ago, I was still at the seventh transformation of Tao realm and came to the mortal world. Many emperors had to bow to me when they saw me. Why did the world change so quickly? Times have changed. Otherwise, why would there be such a huge change? Black energy swallowing the sun, heaven and earth shaking, demon stars descending? Jean Suebwa looked around. The imperial court is a piece of fat meat. The heavenly talisman emperor might go crazy one last time and then collapse. We can hide and wait for a chance. Maybe we can seize the chance and stand out when the calamity arrives. We can become saints and ancestors. Wouldn't that be great? Brother Jean, what you say makes sense. In front of such a situation, even the ancient 72 sects can't protect themselves, let alone a second-rate celestial sect like me. Luo Xiao finally thought it through. That's right, Jean Suebwa said. Actually, you paying taxes might not be without benefits. At least you can get the protection of the imperial court. I know that your three extreme sect also has enemies. You came out this time because your lifespan is almost up and you want to find a good body to possess. It's best if it's an unparalleled genius. Only then can you make up for the loss of your soul. Secondly, you sensed the huge change in the world and wanted to find treasures to increase your strength to deal with your enemies. For example, Old Man Guan of the Thousand Puppet School and Old Man Corpse of the Stone Tomb sect. But if you submit to the imperial court, these two enemies in your sect can be easily dealt with. The imperial court also has many pills that can increase lifespan. You can use the savings of your sect to exchange for them. In that case, I can endure humiliation and live in exchange for a foundation that will last for 1,000 years. Luo Xiao clasped his hands. Brother Jean, your plan is thorough. In the future, help me plan more. Of course, if we work together, there will be more space between us. Jean Suebwa laughed loudly. Let's go. This time, there's a huge change in the burial grounds. The Buzhou palace that suppresses this place is about to appear. I wonder who will obtain it. After the two of them came to an agreement, they also went deep into the burial land. At this time, Gu Chansha, the fourth, and Lu Baiyue had already reached the crack where the Buzhou palace had appeared. As soon as they arrived, they found that the original crack had expanded, causing the entire Buzhou palace to appear in the middle of the burial ground. Even though it was broken everywhere, it was majestic and still displayed the majesty of the last son of heaven, Zhou. After the Zhou dynasty, there were no more emperors, only emperors. It could be said that Buzhou Palace was the last palace of the emperor. Perhaps he could find the secret to the end of the way of the Son of Heaven. So many experts have come. Lu Baiwei looked around. There were experts coming in continuously, directly landing in Buzhou Palace, knocking and smashing everywhere in an attempt to obtain treasures. There were actually people fighting within. Experts from all kinds of forces had rushed here. Everyone wanted to obtain Buzhou Palace. Even if they could not obtain the palace, it was not bad to be able to obtain pills and treasures in the chaos. In the ancient books that Gu Chansha had read, it was recorded that every time a treasure appeared, it would cause all kinds of battles between the immortals, demons, and barbarians. In the history books of the past 500 years, there had been a few treasures appearing in the Divine Prefecture Pass, and every time there was a bloodbath. In the most recent record, it was 60 years ago. In Hong Province, an ancient immortal's cave was unearthed. In the end, the experts of the immortal Tao sects and the demonic path all gathered and fought fiercely. The aftershocks razed all the big and small cities in Hong Province to the ground, and countless people died. In order to snatch the treasures, why would the immortals and demons care about the common people? Whoosh whoosh. A few rays of light descended and greeted the three. Princess Yuefu, Prince Chun, Prince Hua. Gu Qinsha looked and saw that it was Bao Ming, Aluo Wu, Mu Yexiao, Yin Xian, and Huang Fu Fengyan. These five were the outstanding disciples of the five great immortal Tao sections. Bao Ming and Luo Wu had returned to the sect when the world changed, and now they had come out again. Originally, Bao Ming, and Luo Wu addressed each other as brother and sister. However, in front of so many outsiders, Bao Ming and Luo Wu both chose to address him as Prince Chun. Everyone, did you come to the burial ground for the treasures of Buzhou Palace? Lu Baiwen knew that Gu Chensha had recruited Bao Ming, and Luo Wu. At the same time, she also knew that Bao Ming was probably from the Great Wei dynasty, but she did not say anything. When treasures appear, immortals and demons fight over them. This is a normal thing. Mu Yexiao's tone was cold. I heard that the imperial court established the Celestial Pacification Department, with Princess Yuefu and the two princes as the department heads. First, they have to collect taxes from the immortal Dao sections. This is unheard of. It has never happened since ancient times. Brother Mu Yexiao is a disciple of the Great Thousand Mysteries sect. What do you think of the tax collection from the imperial court? Lu Baiwen knew that these disciples were angry. All lands under the heavens belong to the imperial court. The immortal Dao sects are also subjects of the imperial court. Those sage families pay taxes every year, and the immortal Dao sects are no exception. All right, as long as the Black Heaven Earth sect pays the taxes, the Great Thousand Mysteries sect has nothing to say. Mu Yexiao was very tactful. He did not want to directly oppose the imperial court. When he saw the Celestial Talisman Emperor capture Elder Wangji from the Crimson Firmament sect, any disciple with a brain would not choose to fight the imperial court head-on. This is the policy of the imperial court, and the Celestial Dance's sect supports it. Luo Wu expressed her opinion. Princess Yuefu, I will go to the Celestial Pacification Department in a few days to discuss the tax payment and cooperation with the imperial court. The Celestial Dance's sect has held a meeting to support the imperial court. However, as the first sect to respond to the imperial court should give us some preferential treatment. Of course there will be preferential treatment. Lu Baiwen smiled. The Celestial Pacification Department has just been established. If the Celestial Dance's sect can help us, it will be a win-win situation. Seeing Luo Wu express her opinion, Bao Ming did not speak. Although she was an outstanding disciple of the Bountiful Treasures sect, she did not have the authority to decide on such a big matter. The sect would not agree to pay taxes to the imperial court. As for the other disciples, Mu Yexiao, Yin Xian, and Huangfu Fengyun were also silent. The sect was very hostile to the imperial court. This time, they had come to destroy the imperial court's structure and assist the new child of destiny. The barbarian experts are here. At this time, Luo Wu pointed to the front. At this time, a group of barbarians came from afar. All of them were tall and mighty, and their bodies were like giant bears and apes. They were shrouded in black gas, and their cultivation was extremely high. Of course, barbarians with low cultivation were useless here. The Buzhou Palace, the burial ground, was so important that even if Yi Ming was in the barbarian race, he would not be qualified to come here. Those who could come here were all barbarian kings, even barbarian emperors, and sect masters like Yuan Shashan. The person who came is the crown prince of one of the 10 barbarian tribes, the Devil Temple tribe. Bao Ming pointed to the group of barbarians. There was a young barbarian in the middle. He was not wearing animal skins, but silk brocade clothes. His hair was loose, and his nose and ears were strung with golden rings. His eyes were dark green with a hint of blood red, and his body was emitting wisps of black smoke like flames. The crown prince of the barbarian Devil Temple tribe appeared here and looked over. Everyone could only feel the chilly wind blowing and the cries of ghosts and gods. Kill this group of people for me, the barbarian crown prince ordered. It was in the barbarian language, but everyone present could understand it. The barbarians and humans were irreconcilable enemies. When the barbarian crown prince saw Gu Chansha and the others, he knew that they were officials of the imperial court. He wanted to kill them to relieve the hatred in his heart. Rumble. There were experts beside the barbarian crown prince. 7 or 8 barbarian experts flew over fiercely. They were all wearing animal skins, and they had no armor or weapons. They were barehanded, and their fist techniques were extremely fierce. When they pounced, they were thousands of steps away, and they punched at the same time. Innate stellar energy that could topple mountains and overturn seas surged toward him. These people were actually experts at the 7th or 8th transformation of the Tao realm. The thickness of their earth energy far exceeded that of celestial path disciples. The barbarians were tall and muscular like giants. The meridians and acupoints in their bodies could store more Sciention earth energy. Normally speaking, barbarians had 2 to 3 times the potential of humans. This was why the barbarian race had bullied humans for tens of thousands of years, and they had never fought back. Thinking about it, normal barbarian race soldiers could fight 1 against 3, so how could they fight against 5? Guqinsha was the first to head up. His body was really quick, and his movement technique was extraordinary. In a flash, he turned into a few shadows and absorbed all the Sciention earth energy into his body. Everyone saw the mountain toppling and ocean moving Sciention earth energy strike them. But with a slight movement from Guqinsha, the few shadows moved in all directions. All the earth energy that touched his body was absorbed by the whirlpool and turned into nothingness. Old 19 is so fast. The 4th was shocked. He must have already comprehended the 10,000 miles flying cloud escape. That's why he's able to move so quickly. His King Dragon armor has the ability to fly, and it's connected to his heart's blood, making it a part of his body. He can also use some of the abilities of the 10,000 miles flying cloud escape that require connate earth energy, Lu Baiwei said as a giant longbow appeared behind him. There were 2 arrows on the bow. She had comprehended the secret technique of the 10,000-mile flying cloud flag and taught it to Guqinsha. Guqinsha absorbed Luo Xiao's Sciention earth energy and formed a drop of Dragon Transformation Niden in the Dragon Transformation Pagoda to raise his talent to high grade. With the increase in talent, he comprehended the 10,000-mile flying cloud movement. Even the Son of Heaven sealing technique, Great Massacre God technique, various other martial arts, and even the clumsy fist had a fundamental breakthrough. As they comprehended one another, their strength increased really quickly. Pum pum. Just as he absorbed the Sciention earth energy, the bowstring on Lu Baiwei's back made a sound, and the 2 arrows shot straight towards the barbarian crown prince. Lu Baiwei had once used this move to force Li Wangsheng into a sorry state. Now, her cultivation level had increased by several folds. The Great Massacre God art had evolved into the extrication bow. The power of the Chong Chong and the impermanence arrows were extremely great, and their shooting range was also extremely long. Even the barbarian crown prince was unable to dodge them. He only reacted when the arrows were about to reach his chest. Roar! The barbarian crown prince was an expert after all. He instinctively activated some kind of divine power. Pitch-black flames surged and turned into a shield to block the 2 arrows. However, the 2 arrows were extremely fast, and their power was not something an ordinary divine power could block. They pierced through the shield and pierced through the barbarian crown prince's body. After the 2 arrows pierced through the barbarian crown prince's body, the barbarian crown prince disappeared and melted into the 2 arrows. Not even his bones were left. Only dust was left floating in the wind. After the 2 arrows killed the barbarian crown prince, they made a turn in the air and pierced through all the experts of the barbarian race, turning them into ashes. This series of changes happened in the blink of an eye. Chapter 183. In the blink of an eye, the barbarian race crown prince and 8 experts were killed by Lu Baiwei. This bunch of aggressive barbarian race experts were left with just a speck of dust. Luo Wu, Mu Yexiao, Bao Ming and the others' mouths were agape. They didn't dare to believe that Lu Baiwei had such skills. That barbarian race crown prince's cultivation is at the Tao realm 13 transformation, demon swallowing ghost. Moreover, his innate gang qi was incomparably vigorous. He cultivated the 9 deaths inverse blood art of the barbarian race's saint. His techniques were endless, and it was unknown how many disciples of the immortal Tao had been defeated by his hands. There were even a few female disciples of sex who were captured by him and had their yin harvested to replenish their yang. Their essence was sucked dry, and they died. I wanted to kill him for a long time, but he is really cunning and has a few treasures on him. If he wants to escape, even people who are a few realms higher than him won't be able to kill him. Luo Wu's cultivation was really high, and she had obtained Gu Chen's 7 Saint Heart refining pill. She also cultivated hard, and she was a genius who comprehended the principles of Tao in the human realm. She had already reached the Tao realm 14 transformation, Yuan spirit astral projection. However, she wasn't confident in beating the Crown Prince, not to mention killing him instantly. He didn't even have a chance to escape. One must know that the Crown Prince was someone who was personally taught by the Barbarian Saint. The Barbarian Saint was like Li Wanlong of the nest of 10,000 dragons. He was high above and was even stronger than the evil god. It was tough to find someone stronger than him among the 72 sections. The saint's disciple had too many secret techniques. Luo Wu calculated that if she wanted to force the Crown Prince into a corner and kill him, she would need 7 to 8 people to lay out a formation to trap him and refine him. Moreover, the Crown Prince had many followers and could summon barbarian race experts to help at any time. Lu Baiwei easily killed the Crown Prince. Not only did it shock Luo Wu and the others, but also shocked many of the experts in the distance. All of a sudden, many eyes looked over. There were many experts here. There were demonic immortals, demons, factionless cultivators, and even other barbarian race experts. All of them had their own plans, but they didn't dare to attack as they were afraid that others would take advantage of them. They restrained one another, and occasionally there would be conflicts, but they would instantly calm down. However, the appearance of Lu Baiwei seemed to have broken some kind of balance. From a certain perspective, Lu Baiwei represented the most powerful imperial court in the world. Ignoring the gazes of many people, Lu Baiwei flicked her finger, and a black lotus appeared in front of Gu Qinsha. I've just killed 8 barbarian experts, including the Devil Killer Crown Prince. Their essence, blood, flesh, and souls have all been absorbed into this black lotus. Gu Qinsha heard a voice in his mind. It was Lu Baiwei's telepathic message. This was also one of the abilities of the soul tentacles. I don't need to absorb the flesh and soul essences inside, but you can sacrifice yourself. Perfect. Gu Qinsha stored the black lotus into his armor and stealthily sent it into the Sun Moon altar. He didn't start the ritual immediately. Instead, he waited. After studying the ancient books, he had mastered many sacrificial methods. In the past, he had killed barbarians and absorbed their blood essence and souls. The sacrificial method was to obtain heavenly dew. However, he had obtained tens of thousands of kilograms of heavenly dew from the Zhou Palace. It would be a waste to take more. The blood essence and souls of so many experts, especially the Devil Killer Crown Prince, could be sacrificed in many ways to obtain different things. For example, by sacrificing a few turtles, one could obtain the elixir of immortality. Or by sacrificing a few other herbs, such as the sunflower and the moongrass, one could obtain the yin-yang qi pearl. This pearl could harmonize the yin and yang qi in the body and maintain a balance. It could also be used to cultivate an avatar that was exactly the same as oneself. In addition, if the essence of 5 metals and kuei water were sacrificed, one could condense a weapon soul. If the weapon soul was inserted into any weapon, the weapon would immediately have spirituality and change. That was not all. If he used his own blood to seep into it and sacrifice the jade, he could obtain the heavenly soul jade. This jade was the best material for setting up formations and refining magic treasures. It was thousands of times better than the beast soul stone. In addition, there were all kinds of strange sacrificial methods. In short, the blood essence and souls of experts were like currency to the heavenly Tao. With this currency, one could buy all kinds of things from the heavenly Tao through the heavenly sacrificial talisman. This was also the reason why many big shots in the world were determined to obtain the heavenly sacrificial talisman. As long as there were souls, one could use the sacrificial talisman to obtain things that could not possibly exist. It could extend one's lifespan, break through realms and even become a god. In the heavenly sacrificial talisman, the biggest sacrificial ceremony was the great god investiture ceremony. It was the ancient emperor who killed countless demons, and heavenly devils. He gathered the heavenly dragon chi of tens of thousands of people and sacrificed them to the heaven and earth. This would allow one to obtain the position of a god and become a god. Gu Chansha wanted to use these souls as sacrificial offerings. In fact, he wanted to carry out a heavenly divination ceremony. In ancient times, when the emperor offered sacrifices to the heaven, he also used it to predict the future. He even held a great ceremony to predict the future before a great war. Since Gu Chansha had obtained so many powerful souls this time, he decided to use the heavenly divination ceremony to predict the realm after the clumsy fist. He wanted to use the heavenly Tao to perfect his cultivation technique. This was a method to steal from the heavens. Now, he wanted to use the clumsy fist realm to advance to the Tao realm 6 transformations, but he couldn't. This was because he wasn't smart enough and couldn't deduce the later transformations of the clumsy fist. But if he used the heavenly divination ceremony to deduce the future transformations of the clumsy fist, he would be able to quickly advance to the 6th transformation or even the 7th transformation. Right now, he had accumulated a lot of energy. He just lacked that last step. The clumsy fist was at the initial stage, and it was far from the Emperor God investiture technique. But this was the fist technique that was most suitable for him. It was a fist that seeped into the essence of the soul, allowing him to display all his potential and even the power of being one with nature. With the sacrifice of the 7 to 8 experts from the barbarian race and the Masha Crown Prince, he would be able to use the heavenly Tao to deduce. This was the greatest benefit. Everything else had nothing to do with cultivation. The difference between the Tao Realm 5 and 6 transformations was too huge. He had to break through for the essence to change. Not to mention anything else. Once he broke through and had Sciention Earth energy, he would be able to use the King Dragon armor, Demon Descending Blade, and the Dragon Transformation Pagoda in his body. Gu Chansha now understood that the heavenly Tao was just a tool. He could borrow it when he could and give it up when he needed to. That was the way of the universe. Liu Baiwei seemed to have done something insignificant by killing the barbarians. Everyone, the barbarians are evil. To the immortal Tao, they are evil. Are you willing to help me clean up the barbarians here? She was naturally asking Mu Yexiao and the others. The barbarians and the immortal Tao were enemies since ancient times. Sometimes when the barbarians invaded the Divine Continent Pass, the immortal Tao sects would send people down to help the imperial court. Because the barbarians believed in evil gods, they practiced demonic cultivation techniques and killed many living beings. They also liked to use the disciples of the orthodox immortal Tao sects as human cauldrons to refine demons. Some barbarian experts hid in the dark and attacked the disciples of the immortal Tao. This is the wilderness, and there are many barbarian experts here. We should be careful and not cause trouble. Mu Yexiao clearly didn't want to get involved in this mess. The current situation was very delicate for the immortal Tao. After the phenomenon, the imperial court became the target of public criticism. The immortal Tao sects had set the rules to wait and see. Of course, they couldn't help the imperial court kill the barbarians. Especially recently, the Heavenly Talisman Emperor wanted to collect taxes from the immortal Tao sects, and even wanted them to work as slaves. This had greatly offended the interests of the immortal Tao. If it wasn't for the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's unparalleled power, the immortal Tao would have sent their disciples here to help the rich landlords and ambitious clans rebel. The most important thing now is to obtain the treasures of Buzhou Palace. This is the mission the sect gave us. Inxian and Huangfu Fengyan didn't want to fight the barbarians either. It was a strenuous and unrewarding task. After all, there were many demons here, so they naturally had to conserve their strength. That's fine. The imperial court doesn't force people to do things against their will. It's the nature of a cultivator to exterminate demons and protect the Tao. Liu Baiwei didn't want to say anything else and strolled towards Buzhou Palace. At this moment, Buzhou Palace was completely revealed in front of them. Layers upon layers of palaces, stretching for hundreds of li, ghostly figures could be seen everywhere. They were the demons and unknown experts that came to search. Some of the demons had their own plans, but after seeing Liu Baiwei's might when she killed the Devil Killer Crown Prince, they all hid themselves and didn't want to fight her head-on. The experts of the other tribes also scattered far away to avoid being targeted by this malignant star. Everything under the heavens belongs to the imperial court. Liu Baiwei came to Buzhou Palace and looked around. Everyone, listen up. Buzhou Palace has come out and belongs to the imperial court. Those who don't have anything to do, leave immediately. You have half an hour to leave. If you don't, you will be punished for disobeying the imperial court's laws and will be killed. Liu Baiwei's voice reverberated in the air. The great massacre god Art's innate astral chi rippled, and her will was everywhere. Oh my god! When Gu Qinsha heard this voice, his heart trembled. Baiwei is going to clear the area. This is too high profile. Even though he has mastered the great massacre god art, his cultivation level is still too low. He is going against everyone. A battle is unavoidable. Although he wasn't afraid of battle, there were too many experts this time. It could be said that he was the enemy of the whole world. It was better to keep a low profile and get rich quietly. He looked at the fourth. The fourth spread his hands. His meaning was clear. Whatever Liu Baiwei says, we will do. Who's afraid of who? It seems like the fourth is also a fearless person. I'm used to being cautious in this life. Oh well, I will have a big fight with the fourth Baiwei. What's there to be afraid of? Gu Qinsha thought about it and couldn't help but laugh. The Imperial Court's Celestial Pacification Department is investigating Buzhou Palace. Everyone better leave, or else they will be killed. Such arrogance. At this moment, someone actually dared to make a noise. A voice came from outside Buzhou Palace. The person who made the sound was still far away. However, he was faster than the sound and had already appeared in front of the three of them. It was a young man. Gu Qinsha would never forget his appearance, because he was a natural-born saint, and there were no immortals in this world. Chapter 184. Last time, F.A. Wuxian had caused a huge ruckus in ancient, dusty sandcastle, and no one had been able to do anything to him. If he had not been wary of the laws of the imperial court, perhaps everyone would not have been able to escape. It was also from that time that Gu Qinsha realized how terrifying an innate saint was. At the same cultivation level, an innate saint could defeat hundreds of geniuses and dozens of unparalleled geniuses. Currently, among the 72 ancient era's sects of the Path of Immortals and the various sage clans, there was an endless stream of outstanding people. However, only F.A. Wuxian could be considered an innate sage. At the banquet held by the Celestial Talisman Emperor, Gu Qinsha saw a true gathering of geniuses. Thinking about it, they were all far inferior to F.A. Wuxian. At the banquet held by the Heavenly Talisman Emperor, F.A. Wuxian didn't show up. However, Lei Clan's Lei Tianhui and Fan Clan's Fan Rui were there. In order to prevent F.A. Wuxian from suddenly injuring others, Gu Qinsha instantly released the King Dragon armor and wrapped himself tightly. At the same time, he held the demon's subduing blade in his hand and circulated the qi and blood in his dantian. He could enter the space of the Sun-Moon altar at any time. He knew that although his cultivation had skyrocketed recently and his battle prowess was incomparable to before, F.A. Wuxian could still kill him in an instant. It was an instant kill, just like how Liu Baiwei killed the Masha Crown Prince. No one would have any time to react. Fortunately, with his help, Liu Baiwei had achieved great mastery in his divine art. He had combined the Emperor's God sealing art and the great God slaughtering art together, triggering some kind of mysterious potential in the unseen world, which was enough to resist F.A. Wuxian. F.A. Wuxian, as a member of the legalism sect, you disobeyed the imperial court's orders and went against the Emperor. Do you really think that your innate saint talent makes you invincible? Liu Baiwei said coldly. She wasn't afraid of Fa Wuxian at all. You're using the imperial court and the emperor to pressure me? Fa Wuxian put his hands behind his back. Unfortunately, it's useless. Cut the crap and leave. I won't kill you. How arrogant. Lu Baiwei waved her hand, and a golden token appeared in her hand. It was engraved with the words Fa Wuxian. I hold this token in my hand, representing the emperor. If you abide by the emperor's authority, kneel down immediately and leave this place. I won't make things difficult for you for the sake of the school of legalism. It's as if I'm here. Fa Wuxian looked at the token and did not move. He said, "Don't take out this stupid token. It can scare others, but it can't scare me." Very good. Lu Baiwei nodded. Seeing this token is like seeing His Majesty. I can say that even a real saint would have to kowtow to His Majesty, not to mention someone like you who only has the potential to become a saint. Looking at your personality, when you become a saint in the future, don't tell me you'll be an arrogant saint? A saint who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth? At such a young age, he has already brought disaster to the legalists. Whatever you say, legalism is legalism, and I am me. I'm not comprehending the path of the Dharma saint. Fa Wuxian looked at the vast void in silence. I know what you're thinking. If you want to attack the school of legalism because I don't respect the emperor's authority, then go ahead. I don't care about the survival of the school of legalism. The path of the saint is about being unique. How can someone like you, who only knows how to copy from others, compare to this level of cultivation? The ignorant are fearless. Lu Baiwei put away the token of the regal propria presence. She had already achieved her goal. Fa Wuxian saw the token and did not bow, which was already a great disrespect. If this was reported to the imperial court for discussion, the legalists would not be able to escape punishment. Fa Wuxian had already expressed his intention to go against the heavenly talisman emperor and the imperial court. That meant they were enemies. I heard that you've mastered the essence of the great massacre god technique. Let me see how strong this technique is. I heard that you beat up Li Wangsheng and forced him to flee. I'm a little shocked. Last time, you were just at Dao Realm Transformation 6. I saw that you were weak, so I didn't fight you. Now that you are interesting, you have attracted my attention. Fa Wuxian reached out and grabbed the air. Instantly, the world spun and there was a feeling of a galaxy whirlpool. In Gu Chench's eyes, the scenes around disappeared. In the world, there was only Fa Wuxian. Behind Fa Wuxian was a vast galaxy. The galaxy flowed, and he was the only one in the universe. With just that grab, Gu Chencha felt like he was shrinking. He was sucked into his palm, turning into dust, and not existing anymore. Such a martial Dao shocked the world and broke away from the mortal world. It wasn't the power of Xiantian energy, but the power of the soul. Good timing. Lu Baiwei was at the front. She was expressionless, and a lotus appeared above her head. The lotus wasn't black, but one black and one white. A word appeared in the white and black lotus. There were only 2 strokes. 1 stroke, 1 pull. 2 strokes pulled out a human word. Next to the character, a bow and 2 arrows appeared, forming the character for Buddha. It shot out 10,000 streaks of golden light, and there was a cracking sound around like something was being broken. Fa Wuxian took a step forward. The clothes on his body fluttered, even though there was no wind. Instantly, the sky turned into a purgatory flame ocean. The ground was magma, and the sky was flames. Gu Chench's mouth was dry, and all the blood in his body was evaporating. He was about to turn into a dried-up corpse. He knew that these were illusions formed by the power of the soul, but he couldn't break them at all. Fa Wuxian had reached a level where he could ignore all Xiantian energy. Pung! At that moment, Lu Baiwei stepped forwards. In the black and white lotus above her head, there was a bow beside the human word. The 2 arrows shot out and a mountain word appeared. Human and mountain. That was celestial. The celestial word surged out of the black and white lotus. Immediately, the sky was high and the clouds were light. The beautiful mountains and rivers were picturesque, breaking through Fa Wuxian's flame ocean. Oh! Fa Wuxian's eyes suddenly turned sharp. At that instant, under his psyche, the world changed again. The world was filled with swords and sabers that hung in the air. They were sharp and could instantly dismember a person. At that instant, Gu Chansha felt like he was being sliced into pieces. He hovered between life and death. In his body, his chi and blood flowed in reverse, out of his control. They crazily drilled into his meridians and acupoints. He couldn't even move a finger, much less enter the sun-moon altar. However, he didn't panic. He forced his mind to operate. Impressive. Impressive. In that instant, my mind changed and my psyche battled. It's even more dangerous than Xiantian energy. If I'm not careful, my mind will collapse and I'll become an idiot. Then, my Xiantian energy will go berserk and I'll be reduced to dust. He endured the pain and observed carefully. He was able to learn many things. From this psyche, he could see Fa Wuxian's Tao and Lu Baiyue's Tao. Fa Wuxian's every move was filled with battle intent. He fought against the heavens, the earth, the people, the imperial court, and all living things. His Tao was the Tao of the Do Shang. Among the ancient sages, there was no battle sage. He wanted to open up this Tao and become a battle sage. Gu Qinsha understood the concept in his heart and peered into its true essence. It was this moment of comprehension that greatly benefited his cultivation. Lu Baiyue, you're no match for me. In the psyche world, Fa Wuxian created countless weapons. Sword and saber fill the universe. All the weapons formed a Do word in the middle. It represented all the battles and the true meaning of battle. This was Fa Wuxian's true ability. However, Lu Baiyue was still expressionless and stoic. Above his head, the mountain next to the celestial word in the black and white lotus suddenly collapsed. However, two strokes appeared out of nowhere. One horizontal stroke and another horizontal stroke. It was a two word. Next to the human word, there was a two word. Benevolence. As soon as the word appeared, the world suddenly became vast and dense. A white rainbow appeared, piercing through the sun. In an eternal river, there seemed to be an endless stream of people with lofty ideals who had truly pursued the path of benevolence since ancient times. It broke through everything. All the battle auras were vulnerable in front of this Tao of benevolence. Crackle. All the swords and sabers disappeared. The Do word also disappeared. The sky became clear again. It was still the Buzhou Palace. Fa Wuxian seemed to not have fought with Lu Baiyue. His fluttering clothes also calmed down. The great God-Slayer technique is indeed powerful. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor is indeed the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. He can suppress the gods and immortals, subdue the demons, and suppress the Heavenly Tao. However, I've already peeped into the core meaning of your great God-Slayer technique. I will definitely kill you in the future. Fa Wuxian waved his sleeves. This Buzhou Palace is nothing special. However, there are powerful people spying on it. It seems impossible for you to think about it. As he spoke, he had already disappeared. Lu Baiyue's face turned pale. Her innate gang chi dissipated. No one knew who won this battle. It was still a draw. This Fa Wuxian is really powerful. Lu Baiyue regained her breath. His cultivation has already reached the realm where he can do as he pleases. Moreover, he is on the path of Battle Saint. If it wasn't for the fact that there are too many experts here, and he is afraid that both of us will be injured and others will take advantage of us, it would be hard to say who will win this battle. Are you all right? Gu Qinsha asked with concern. I'm fine. Lu Baiyue returned to normal. If he can easily break the great God-Slayer technique, how can the Emperor command the gods? Even if he really becomes a battle saint, he can't break Father's great God-Slayer technique. Number 4 had not spoken the entire time. He had been watching the entire battle. However, Fa Wuxian's future might truly be limitless. He's our greatest opponent. He doesn't respect the imperial court's orders, doesn't pay respects to Father Emperor, and is lawless and out of control. He is fine. He knows when to retreat. Gu Qinsha saw through him. Look at his 2 attacks. He retreated after failing to kill the imperial court. It is clear that he is afraid of the imperial court. Father can tolerate him. In the Emperor's eyes, he is just a rebellious child. Lu Baiwe said. Actually, the Emperor loves him. Let's not talk about him. Gu Qinsha said. The people here don't seem to want to leave Buzhou Palace. Should we start a massacre? Kill. Lu Baiwe did not pity him. But we can just expel the people of the immortal path. Kill the barbarians and demons. Chapter 185. Wang. A bow and 2 arrows appeared on Lu Baiwe's back once more. This was the Fan family's god artifact, transformed from the Great Massacre god technique. The release bow and the constant and impermanence arrows were really strong. She killed the Masha Crown Prince so easily. Many monsters, demons, barbarians, and celestials who were hiding in the depths of Buzhou Palace were terrified when they saw her use this technique. But Lu Baiwe wanted to clear the area and didn't care about what they thought. The 2 arrows locked onto a barbarian. The barbarian hid his body and hid behind the stone walls of the palace. He seemed to have noticed something and was silently circulating his will to try to see through the walls of Buzhou Palace to see what was inside. This Buzhou Palace was really firm, and no matter how high one's cultivation was or how strong one's Xiantian energy was, one couldn't damage it at all. Those damaged areas were left behind from the ancient god and demon war, and only gods could damage it. Although it couldn't be destroyed, one could use one's soul power to spy on it. If one found some holes, there might be benefits and fortuitous encounters. Those who could come here were all experts, but to be able to use soul power to spy on it, one had to be at least at Tao Realm Transformation 11, Soul Tentacle. This meant that this hidden barbarian was also at that realm, or even stronger. If he really found many fortuitous encounters in Buzhou Palace, and his cultivation rose, who knew how much trouble he would cause in the future? The bowstring rang out. The 2 arrows instantly arrived beside the barbarian. Numerous black lights broke the barbarian's invisibility technique and were about to kill him. The barbarian swelled up, and his Xiantian energy circulated, forming a waterfall-like sky barrier. Within the barrier, numerous dragon and snake shadows tangled and blocked the 2 arrows. Kacha-kacha. Under the strikes of the 2 arrows, the barrier gave out a drum-like sound. It was deafening, but it was unable to break through the defense of the barrier. This is a strong person. Gu Qinsha and the 4th pounced forwards. Lu Baiwe walked slowly at an extremely fast speed. She arrived in front of the barbarian before Gu Qinsha and the 4th. She put away her arrows. She said, Lala, the Pope of the Hell Serpent Temple, once assassinated the Inspector General of 5 provinces, 3 prefectural governors, dozens of generals, and countless officials of various prefectures. If I remember correctly, in the first year of the Heavenly Talisman era, you were the one who caused a massacre in the 7 prefectures of the Yichuan Prefecture. All the people and officials of the 7 prefectures died in a single night, their souls sucked away. 7 prefectures, hundreds of thousands of people. How could I let you go after meeting you today? Ha ha! The Hell Serpent Temple's Pope Laha laughed and said in the barbarian language, That's right. I caused this. I devoured the souls of hundreds of thousands of people. What do you do to me? You killed that useless Devil Cliff Crown Prince, but allowed our tribe to rise. I have to thank you. The barbarian tribes were also not very united. They fought with each other and wanted to devour each other. They were not a monolithic entity. Very good. Lu Baiwen nodded her head. Since that is the case, then you won't be able to escape justice today. This Buzhou Palace will be your burial ground. As he spoke, Lu Baiwe made his move. Light as a feather, he struck out with his palm. The demon descending blade in Gu Qinsha's hand roared and slashed out. The sword was really clumsy and wasn't fast or slow. It was like a turtle crawling, like a kid scribbling, like an old woman threading a needle. It was calm and peaceful, ordinary and simple, like a supreme intent of returning to one's true self. The sword appeared in front of the Hell Serpent Temple's Pope Lalaha. At the same time, Fourth Bro also pressed down lightly, activating the heart in the vast beyond heaven's fist technique. The 3 of them pincer attacked. The Hell Serpent Temple's Pope Laluha's cultivation was really strong. In the first year of Heaven Talisman, he swallowed the souls of hundreds of thousands of people in 7 counties. It was obvious that he had reached the demon-devouring ghost realm. This transformation not only allowed him to swallow the souls of demons and beasts, but he could also swallow the souls of humans and beasts. He could digest them in his body to strengthen his mental energy and raise the strength of his soul. In the end, he would reach the 14th transformation, the soul leaving the body. He wouldn't be afraid of all sorts of tribulations. In the past, Luluha was at the demon-devouring ghost realm. Now, he was at least several times stronger. However, Gu Qinsha was very careful. Based on his intuition, this Luluha was unfathomable. He was actually able to withstand the transformation of the 2 arrows. He was afraid that he was even stronger than Luo Xiao, who he had just met, let alone the Devil Cliff Crown Prince. One had to know that Luo Xiao was the sect leader of 3 extreme sect. Although it was a 2nd or 3rd grade celestial sect, his cultivation was really strong. He was already at the 16th transformation of Tao realm, reincarnation. At such a realm, even in the 72 sects, he could be a really high-ranking elder and enjoy all sorts of treatment. He was a pillar of the sect. Just at that moment, a person came out from a leather bag on Luluha's back. He clapped his hands and blocked Gu Qinsha and the 4th's attacks. Then, a huge amount of Xiantian earth energy appeared from his body, and he clashed with Lu Baiwei. Long. The 3 of them were actually forced back by him. Gu Qinsha advanced and retreated. As he retreated, he dissolved all the Xiantian earth energy and used the Dragon Transformation Pagoda to absorb it. He could only feel that the other party's earth energy was really strong and was much stronger than Luo Xiao's. It was a whole realm higher. Even his Dragon Transformation Pagoda found it hard to dissolve it. The 3 of them split up and formed a triangle surrounding Luluha. At this moment, Gu Qinsha could see that there was a young man standing beside Luluha. This young man's cultivation was really strong, on par with Luluha. Moreover, he had sharp eyebrows and sharp eyes. He was actually a genius that was no weaker than Long Zai Fei. However, the strange thing was that this young man's every move was similar to Luluha's. The 2 of them were very similar in terms of soul, as if they were the same person. As expected, Lu Baiwei squinted her eyes. You actually cultivated to the 17th transformation, Tao, splitting soul. If I'm not wrong, this young man was called Li Yaoyang, the most outstanding disciple of the profound sect of Chongyang. However, you swallowed his soul and took over his body, pouring in your 2nd Yuan Shan. Tao realm 17th transformation, Tao splitting soul. Gu Qinsha became nervous when he heard this. The so-called Tao splitting soul was when the Yuan Shan was used to the extreme and split into 3, which were 3 different people. Each of them could be reincarnated or reincarnated in another body. In the demon path, this was called the 3 corpses Yuan Shan, and in the celestial path, it was called the 3 pure ones. Only when one reached this realm could one truly be said to be powerful and extremely difficult to kill. However, this transformation was a bottleneck. Splitting the primordial spirit was as difficult as splitting open the Grand Tao. Even in the primordial era, very few cultivators were able to succeed. Perhaps only 1 in 1,000 cultivators would be able to succeed. Once one succeeded, one's cultivation would be 3 times stronger. Moreover, the 3 of them would form a formation and change one another. It wouldn't be as simple as 3 stacking on top of one another. One could say that if one reached this realm, it would be a totally different world. It would be the same as the Samadhi true flame of the Tao realm 8 transformation. The Tao realm 36 transformation was the number of 4 nines. This meant that every 9 transformations meant a huge breakthrough. From the Samadhi true flame of the Tao realm 8 transformation to the glass jade body, one's lifespan would double and one's body would be as quiet as glass. The Tao realm 17 transformation, Tao splitting soul, and 18 transformation, great Tao golden core were the final transformations of the 2 nines. From the 10 transformations to 1,000 using one heart and reincarnating in a body, they were all paving the way for the second transformation. As expected from someone that the Heaven Talisman Emperor favored, Lalaha used the barbarian language to laugh. This Li Yaoyang was a top talent and was arrogant. He went around killing demons and monsters, but after all, he wasn't strong enough. I schemed and killed him. I swallowed his soul and used the second soul to occupy his body. After cultivation, he reached the same realm as me. No, he is stronger than me, but right now I still lack a third body. Originally, I wanted to plot against Fa Wuxian, but unfortunately, he was too vigilant. Since you have appeared, then I will occupy your body and swallow your soul. Then I will be able to cultivate the Great Tao Golden Core easily. The fourth, Ol 19. This person is the Hell Snake God Temple sect leader, and his position is similar to Yuan Shashing's. Killing him would mean that all those who believe in the Hell Snake evil god would have no leader. Liu Baiyue's expression was calm. I knew that the appearance of Buzhou Palace was a good chance for us to kill barbarian race experts. It is a good chance for calming Celestial Department to become famous. That's right. The fourth didn't care at all. This kind of barbarian race temple leader must be killed. I want to see how far I am from the top experts. Gu Qinsha had fought against Hung Budong before, although he was no match for Lala. With number 4 and Liu Baiyue taking some of the pressure off of Lala, Gu Qinsha was able to provide some assistance from the side. Moreover, he was very useful. He could absorb the enemy's innate gang chi and make it impossible for him to retract it, thus weakening the enemy. A great battle was about to begin. Ha ha ha! At this moment, laughter was heard again. Someone landed in the field. Liu Baiyue, Gu Qinsha, and the fourth frowned at the same time. Because the person who came was the chaotic, demonic ape temple sect leader, Yuan Shashing. As Yuan Shashing landed, Li Wangxing also appeared in the field. He came from the other side and locked his eyes on Liu Baiyue. The enemy had 2 more experts out of nowhere. No matter how strong Liu Baiyue was, she had to consider the risks. Yuan Shashing didn't attack last time, but this person had reached Dao Realm Transformation 16 long ago. Gu Qinsha felt that he was even more terrifying than Li Wangxing and might not be weaker than Laha. One must know that chaotic demonic ape temple was even stronger than Hell Snake God Temple. If Liu Baiyue, fourth elder, and Gu Qinsha were to go against Laha, the odds of victory were only 50-50. Then, with Li Wangxing, Yuan Shashing would definitely lose. Liu Baiyue, you are really amazing. Compared to last time, your cultivation has improved. Li Wangxing's gaze was sharp. If you continue to grow like this in a year and a half, how strong will you be? Liu Baiyue's growth shocked him. At the start, Liu Baiyue was just at Dao Realm Transformation 7 and was defeated by him. In just a short 20 hours, she appeared in front of him once more, and he was actually helpless. 3 months passed, and Li Wangxing realized that he was no match for Liu Baiyue. In front, Liu Baiyue and Fa Wuxian were fighting on the same level. Chapter 186. The situation is really bad. Gu Qinsha calculated in his heart, with my strength, if I don't use the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, King Dragon Armor, and Demon Descending Blade, I can at most fight someone at the 7th or 8th stage of Dao Realm. With these 3 treasures, my strength will increase by 10 times, and I will be able to fight someone at the 10th or even the 11th stage. I can be considered an expert, but in such a situation, I won't be able to handle it. Instead, I will just be a burden. He knew where his weakness was. His cultivation realm was at the peak of the 5th transformation, the 100 Spirit Gathering Realm. Logically speaking, no matter how strong a person was, he could at most fight someone at the 6th transformation. But against someone at the 7th transformation, he would be suppressed. This was because one used brute force while the other used the ever-changing Xiantian earth energy and could fly. The difference was huge. Brute force couldn't beat Xiantian earth energy. If he was at the 6th transformation, he wouldn't be able to fly, and the Xiantian earth energy couldn't be retracted. Then, he might have a chance with brute force. At the 7th transformation, he could suppress any kind of brute force. However, Gu Qiansha cultivated the most powerful Son of Heaven's investiture art and transformed into the dragon form of the sun and moon. His strength was powerful, and his qi and blood were vast, far surpassing anyone else. It could be said that even innate saints in the same realm could not compare to him in terms of physique. Moreover, he consumed a large amount of heaven dew and was nourished by the Xuanwu god-beast energy. His body was like an indestructible diamond. Normal Xiantian earth energy would be like a mosquito bite when it struck his body. Unless it was a Tao realm transformation, 8 Xiantian earth energy that had been refined by the Samadhi true flame, it would be extremely sharp and would have a 20% chance of harming Gu Qiansha. The key was that if a Tao realm transformation 8 Xiantian earth energy flew around, Gu Qiansha wouldn't be able to do anything to him. With the King Dragon armor, he had solved this problem perfectly. He could fly, chase, and turret wheel. It would not be difficult for him to kill an expert with a glass body in one strike. This didn't even include the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. The Dragon Transformation Pagoda could be said to be his true trump card. When the enemy's innate stellar energy bombarded his body, it would actually be absorbed and fused with his sun and moon dragon blood, producing dragon energy in the pagoda. Therefore, with the help of the King Dragon armor, the Dragonization Pagoda, the Demon's Subduing Blade, and the Heaven Offering Talisman, Gu Qiansha was able to handle the situation with ease. Even if it was the 10th or 11th transformations, he wouldn't be afraid. Even against an expert like Luo Xiao, he was able to act as a sidekick under the suppression of Lu Baiwei and the 4th and obtain benefits. Of course, if he were to face Luo Xiao head-on, his strength would only lead to death. However, he knew that his shortcoming was that he had yet to master the innate stellar energy. Once he did, he would undergo a tremendous transformation. He knew very well how much energy he had accumulated in his body and how strong he would be after he converted all of it into innate stellar energy. But he just couldn't break through that step. Looks like I'll have to perform the heavenly divination sacrifice in secret to perfect my clumsy fist. Gu Qiansha was eager to improve his strength. Oh, so many people are here? Lu Baiyue's expression didn't change at all. Li Wangsheng, you lost to me that day, and now you dare to come here to die? Lu Baiwei, if you didn't rely on that mysterious space treasure, how could you have withstood my demon destroys the world? Li Wangsheng was furious. That day, even though Lu Baiwei and Gu Qiansha had cultivated the 9 transformations glass J body and cultivated the great massacre god technique, they still couldn't withstand Li Wangsheng's demon destroys the world. That move was already a forbidden technique. Although it wasn't as good as the annihilation of the sun and moon, it was still extremely terrifying. Especially with Li Wangsheng's cultivation, people who were a few levels higher than him might not be able to withstand it. Li Wangsheng, since that is the case, why don't you use Demon Destroys the World again and see if I can withstand it? Lu Baiwei smiled. If you fight me now, I can kill you in less than 10 moves. After 3 months of hard work, Lu Baiwei had leveled up twice and reached the 11 transformation soul tentacles. Her combat strength had increased by more than 10 times. She had absolute confidence in herself. Qiansha, when the battle starts, immediately hide in space. As she spoke, a wisp of her soul entered Gu Qiansha's mind. The 4th and I are not afraid. This is a tough battle. Okay, Gu Qiansha knew that his cultivation was low, and if they fought, he would be a burden. If Lu Baiwei and the 4th went all out, it would be extremely difficult for others to kill them. He hid in the sun and moon altar and used the heaven divination sacrifice. So, with a sway of his body, he disappeared. Lu Baiwei and the 4th looked at one another and hollered. A spirit flag floated in the air and protected the two of them. Shua. Their speed increased by 10 times. This was the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag, an ancient treasure. Normally, it required an extremely dense Xiantian Gang Qi to activate, and ordinary experts would not be able to unleash its full power. However, Lu Baiyue's Xiantian Gang Qi was endless, and he was able to activate 30 to 40% of the flag's power. She and the fourth worked together to strike. They charged towards Leluha. A tough battle was about to begin. At that moment, Gu Chunsha was in the sun and moon altar. He dripped fresh blood on the black lotus and then drew many talismans on the altar. Sun and moon dragon flame. He summoned it, and instantly the talisman started to burn. He placed the black lotus on the flame talisman and then pointed once more. Another talisman was drawn in fresh blood. The talisman was really complicated, like it was calculating formulas. This was the method of the heaven divination sacrifice. He had studied hard from ancient books and records. The black lotus was the true chi of the great massacre god technique. Within it were sealed the essence blood, essence energy, and souls of the 8 Tao realm transformation 8 barbarian race experts and the Masha crown prince. These people had strong souls, and if they sacrificed to the heavens, they would be able to obtain many benefits. Man proposes, but God disposes. From the past to the future, the heavens have evolved to test the changes of my clumsy fist. Gu Chensha hollered, "Sacrifice!" Kacha! The black lotus split open and a ghostly wail spread out. That was evil energy and vengeful intent. The Masha crown prince and the barbarian race experts gathered together had done many evil things in their lives. Vengeful souls surrounded them, and they were really evil. Now all of that was gone. Dust to dust, dust to dust. All sins will belong to the heavens. Gu Chansha clasped his hands together, and more sun and moon dragon flame descended, instantly sacrificing all the souls. The moment he sacrificed, the flames turned into many diagrams. In just a breath's time, it deduced hundreds of millions of times and evolved into many different forms of the clumsy fist. Gu Chansha calmed himself down to take a look. As expected, the heavens divination was unique. The huge heavens started to spin, and the cultivation technique that was deduced far exceeded what he had expected. Many details were perfected, and the cultivation technique that followed seemed to have gained a lot of inspiration. How long? After a few breaths, the flames dissipated and everything disappeared. However, Gu Chansha had grasped the key point of the clumsy fist breakthrough. His mind spun quickly, and his thoughts returned to one. In the depths of his mind, the structure of the clumsy fist changed once more. It turned into a mountain and land that stood tall in the universe, representing the foundation of the universe. On the top of the mountain, a bright light shone. That was the sun of heaven god sealing technique. The clumsy fist represented the most basic thing in the world, and the sun of heaven god sealing technique represented the highest light. The two of them were actually perfectly combined. I see. Gu Chansha understood. The clumsy fist that I comprehended represents the most ignorant and suffering people in the world. Although it's inferior, it's the foundation. If it wasn't so, it wouldn't be able to hold up the light of the sun and moon. If that's the case, there's no barrier between the clumsy fist and the son of heaven god sealing technique. Instead, I can use the son of heaven god sealing technique to nourish this fist. Gu Chansha comprehended again. In his body, the chi and blood beads accumulated in the 108 acupoints suddenly exploded and turned into a majestic airflow that shuttled through his body. It seemed like it was going to turn into innate earth energy. Hungry, I'm so hungry. At this moment, he felt extremely weak and hungry. It turned out that the process from the 5th transformation to the 6th transformation of the Tao state required the gathering and condensing of energy. A large amount of chi and blood could only turn into a wisp of innate earth energy. Therefore, during the transformation process, a large amount of elixirs or the strongest spirit gathering formation was required. Heavenly Dew, give it to me. Gu Chansha was prepared and naturally wouldn't make a mistake at this moment. He grabbed with his hand, and the purple gold gourd appeared in his hand. There were tens of thousands of kilograms of heavenly dew left behind by the ancient Zhou emperor. Liu Baiwei had given all of it to him. Gulp, gulp. He gulped down the heavenly dew like an elephant drinking water. The heavenly dew brewed in his body and instantly turned into surging qi and blood. The qi and blood condensed again and turned into innate earth energy. All of Gu Chinch's pores shot out light. His entire body was no longer made of flesh and blood, but a body of a gem. He was a head taller than before. The meridians Dantian, sea of qi, all the acupoints and organs in his body had become extremely wide. As the heavenly dew was consumed in large amounts, a large amount of his qi and blood was also converted into innate earth energy. The innate earth energy circulated in his body and merged with his flesh and blood, changing and expanding his body, making it more resilient, flexible, and flexible. There were many miraculous changes to the body of sun and moon dragons. At this moment, the strength of Gu Chinch's body far exceeded Yi Ming's glass jade body. Sun and moon refinement. I can finally break through. I won't use blood refinement, but energy refinement. Gu Qinsha sensed the changes in his body. He knew that this was his biggest breakthrough. Tao Realm, 6 transformations, innate earth energy. His Son of Heaven God sealing technique was merged together and had a new breakthrough. Sun and moon refinement, sun and moon transformation, sun and moon slaughter, and sun and moon dragon all stepped into a brand new realm. Especially the sun and moon refinement. It was much more magical. In the past, he could only use blood to refine treasures, but now he could use his own innate earth energy. Dragon Transformation Tower. I will use my own innate earth energy to refine you. Gu Qinsha had an idea, and large amounts of innate earth energy surged into the Dragon Transformation Tower. The moment he stepped into the Tao Realm 6 transformations, he knew the secrets of the sun and moon refinement. Chapter 187. The Dragon Transformation Pagoda was Gu Chinch's trump card. With this pagoda, innate stellar qi could not be harmed, and it could even be converted into dragon energy to enhance one's aptitude. From this, it could be seen that if Yuan Shashing succeeded in refining this pagoda and absorbed it into his body, his cultivation would rise to a certain level. When Gu Qinsha used his Xiantian astral energy to rush into it, the Dragon Transformation Pagoda itself was also squirming. Gu Chinch's innate energy was no small matter. It was the lunisolar draconic energy that could destroy all evil, punish all evil, nourish the common people, and nourish the world. He used the sun and moon refining technique to perfect the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, allowing it to advance one step further. The Dragon Transformation Pagoda changed a few times, but it was no longer in the shape of a pagoda. Instead, it turned into a small arched door. Untainted Universe Dragon Sect. Gu Qinsha was overjoyed. My sun and moon dragon handle can actually transform the Dragon Transformation Pagoda again and evolve it into the embryonic form of the primeval Dragon Gate. Although it's a fake, it's much more effective than the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. A large number of sun and moon dragons repulsed, rushed into the embryonic Dragon Gate. The whirlpool inside the Dragon Gate spun, producing a huge suction force that seemed to be able to suck in the sun and moon dragon handle endlessly. In an instant, Gu Qinsha once again felt that his innate energy of vigor was insufficient. The speed at which he consumed the heavenly dew increased. Fortunately, he had the support of tens of thousands of kilograms of heavenly dew. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for him to cultivate the Dragon Gate to such a level. At this moment, the Dragon Transformation Pagoda had transformed into the embryonic form of the Dragon Gate. Even though it was a replica, the speed at which it absorbed innate stellar energy and its capacity were greatly increased. If the Dragon Gate can devour other innate earth qi and convert it into dragon qi to improve one's potential, then it can also devour my innate earth qi and convert it into dragon qi. Since that's the case, I will infuse it into the Dragon Gate to improve my potential and turn myself into a genius. Gu Qinsha had used the Dragon Transformation Pagoda to condense a dragon core and raise his aptitude to superior grade. Now, he was going to raise it again and become a genius. If it was the true great desolate dragon gate, it would be able to raise people to innate sages. However, the dragon transformation pagoda could only raise people to become geniuses. However, a genius was enough for Guchen Shah. Although the aptitude of geniuses was far from that of peerless geniuses, let alone innate saints, they still had a place in the immortal Tao sections. With his genius aptitude, Guchen's cultivation speed would definitely not be the same as before. One had to know that there was an insurmountable gap between superior aptitude and genius. Sure enough, when Guchen's Sun Moon Dragonwell entered the Dragon Gate, he didn't use the Sun Moon refinement, but rather the Dragon Nourishing incantation. Instantly, the Sun Moon Dragonwell condensed and transformed into Dragon Chi, which then condensed into a Dragon Core. Finally, a huge Dragon Core was formed in the depths of the Dragon Gate. The Dragon Core melted again and entered Guchen's body, blood, soul, and brain. Crack! Guchen Shah was in high spirits. He felt that the essence of his soul could travel through time and space. His brain, which was not very bright before, became extremely intelligent. On his body, spiritual light flashed like lightning. Even more martial arts concepts emerged. His creative ideas were as numerous as the hairs on a cow. Is this the aptitude of a genius? Guchen Shah casually circulated his energy and felt that his strength had increased tremendously, and he could not be compared to before. King Dragon Armor. Come on. The Blade of Exorcism. Come on. He used his Sun Moon Draconic Repulse and large amounts of sky due to turn the Dragon Formation Tower into the Dragon Gate. He then used the Dragon Gate to absorb large amounts of Sun Moon Draconic Repulse to form a Dragon Core to raise his talent. This series of changes caused his strength to increase by several times. Of course, this was the limit of the Dragon Gate. In the future, even if the Dragon Gate absorbed energy to form a Dragon Core, it wouldn't be able to increase talent. The Dragon Gate could absorb Sciention energy and turn it into Dragon Energy and Dragon Core. It could also store Sciention energy and use it to refine the Dragon Gate itself. All of this followed Guchen's heart technique. The Dragon Gate's treasure had the ability to snatch the essence of heaven and earth. After comprehending the Dragon Gate, Guchen Shah decided to go all out. He refined the King Dragon Armor and Blade of Exorcism to the peak. Anyway, he had sky due to support him. Ocean amounts of Sun Moon Draconic Repulse surged into the depths of the King Dragon Armor and Blade of Exorcism. Guchen Shah reached out and activated the Sun and Moon Refinement. He was now at Tao Realm Transformation 6 and also had talent. His comprehension of the Sun and Moon Refinement was much higher than before. A genius's talent and comprehension of martial arts were really shocking. His Sciention energy flowed in the depths of the King Dragon Armor and Demon Exorcism Blade, clearing up his meridians, opening up his joints, and even starting to form his acupoints. Sun and Moon Dragon Flame. He sacrificed fresh blood once more to draw in the Dragon Flame to burn. Large amounts of Sun and Moon Draconic Repulse were consumed. Under his exquisite refinement techniques, the sword and armor turned into all sorts of shapes. Gulp, gulp. He consumed sky dew like it was nothing to increase his blood and energy. If the old antiques in the celestial path saw this, they would probably scold him for being a wastrel. Change, change, change. Guchen's hands formed seals, and he controlled the Sciention energy to wrap around it. He hadn't reached Tao Realm Transformation 7 and wasn't familiar with the circulation of energy. He could release it, but he couldn't retract it. But it was enough to refine treasures. How long? The King Dragon Armor was the first to change. This armor's quality wasn't bad, and it had swallowed the Sky Demon Relic Shard. It had formed an essence spirit and was refined many times. Now that it absorbed the Sun and Moon Draconic Repulse and was being burned by the Sun and Moon Dragon Flame, it instantly changed. The entire armor became bigger and spread out, turning into a shining golden fire cloud. It was 3 to 4 acres of land, and many small dragons swam about. Many runes appeared in the center. Gu raised his hand and shot out balls of sun and moon dragon handle which entered. Flames surged, and 10,000 dragons roared in unison. The demon descending blade flew out, turning into a giant sword that sped through the golden clouds. Sword and armor were refined together. Dragon Gate. Gu opened his mouth and a small dragon gate flew out. In the blink of an eye, it was as tall as a person. It sucked in the demon descending blade and the fire cloud that the armor had turned into. The depths of the dragon gate were pitch black, and who knew what was hidden there? The sword and armor were brewing within. Gu sucked in the sky dew once more and sent the sun and moon dragon handle into the dragon gate. He circulated the sun and moon dragon handle to the extreme, and there was actually a rumble of lightning in the depths of the dragon gate. The treasure entered the dragon gate, and its nature changed. All sky dew. Drink it all. Gu didn't know how much sky dew he had drunk. He only felt that the sky dew in the gourd was getting lesser and lesser. He drank a few hundred kilograms and instantly converted it into sun and moon dragon handle, which the dragon gate absorbed endlessly. In the end, the gourd was filled with tens of thousands of kilograms of sky dew. He didn't know how much Xiantian Gang Qi had accumulated in the depths of the dragon gate. The king dragon armor and the demon descending blade were spat out and underwent a new change. The king dragon armor had turned into an ancient word, the word as for the demon descending blade, it had turned into the word blade. This was the sun and moon refining technique of the son of heaven's god sealing art. It could return to the origin and impart the true meaning of the primordial era. These were the words of the primordial era. The ancient sages created words according to the supreme principles of heaven and earth. They condensed the true meaning of all things and turned it into runes. It could be said that words were also a type of rune. When people saw a word, they would understand the true meaning of an object or thing. Words were the representation of the communication between runes and the world. Right now, the king dragon armor had condensed into the word and the demon descending blade had turned into the word blade. This was equivalent to obtaining the true meaning of the words. Their power had increased, and they could kill demons and ghosts in the blink of an eye. Upper body. Gu swallowed the dragon gate into his abdomen and pointed. The word once again turned into the king dragon armor and was worn on his body. Almost all of his body was hidden, and even his aura was gone. The demon descending blade was also held in his hand. As it swayed, it also became invisible, formless and traceless. Void Walker. At this moment, Gu had a sword in his hand, armor on his body, and the dragon gate in his abdomen. Xiantian Gang Qi circulated throughout his body. In the depths of the dragon gate, he had stored a large amount of sun and moon dragon aura, which could support his consumption at any time. Normally, people who had reached the 6 transformations had limited Xiantian Gang Qi. Gu was no exception. For example, the Shadow Priest had also reached the 6 transformations, and his Xiantian Gang Qi could release about 10 attacks. Even if Gu did not need the Dragon Gate to store Xiantian Gang Qi, he could still release hundreds of attacks with his own Dantian. With the Xiantian Gang Qi stored in the Dragon Gate, he could even release thousands or even tens of thousands of attacks. The Dragon Gate had too many functions, and it was one of the best Dharma treasures for storing Xiantian Gang Qi. However, no matter how much Xiantian Gang Qi he could store, it could not compare to Lu Baiyue. Lu Baiyue's great massacre god technique had endless Xiantian Gang Qi. It's a pity that this sea-carrying gourd is also an extremely powerful Dharma treasure. I can refine it and store Xiantian Gang Qi, but I don't have time to refine it now. When my cultivation is higher, I will refine this treasure, and then I will have more protective treasures. Gu looked at the sea-carrying gourd. This sea-carrying gourd was a space Dharma treasure, and there were many mysteries hidden within it. It was a pity that he did not have the energy and time to refine it. All these changes from the heaven-telling sacrifice deduced the many changes behind the clumsy fist. He comprehended the complementation between the clumsy fist and the Son of Heaven's God investiture technique. His cultivation increased greatly, and he broke through the 6 transformations of Tao realm. Then, he used the Sun and Moon Dragon energy to transform the Dragon Transformation Tower into the Dragon Gate. And with the help of the Dragon Gate, he pushed himself to the level of a genius. Then, he consumed all the heavenly dew, and the King Dragon armor and the Demon Descending Blade evolved to an even stronger level. This series of changes only took a few dozen breaths. Outside, Lu Baiwei and the Fourth had joined forces to activate the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag, and were already fighting with Yuan Shasheng, Li Wangsheng, Luha, and some demons. In Buzhou Palace, fierce battles were raging, and the sky and earth were turning upside down. Lu Baiwei was extremely fast, and no one could touch her. With a wave of her hand, the Great Massacre God Techniques Xiantian Earth Energy was released, and it turned into a sky full of stardust. They were all lightning, and they exploded all the attacks. The Fourth relied on the speed of the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag to appear and disappear like a ghost. He worked together with Lu Baiwei, and after the God Massacre Thunder broke the enemy's protective earth energy, he suddenly punched out, aiming for the enemy's vitals. This way, when they fought, the two of them were not at a disadvantage. But this battle attracted more and more experts. The celestial Tao people didn't help, and they all hid to watch. The barbarian race experts, evil demons, and monster race experts all attacked Lu Baiwei and the Fourth. Chapter 188. Lu Baiwei is really amazing. Her methods are far beyond ours. Luo Wu, Bao Ming'er, Mu Yi, and the others stood far away from the Buzhou Palace, watching the battle in the center of the palace. Strong Xiantian earth energy swept everywhere, and those with weak cultivations didn't dare to get close. Look, a few barbarian kings have joined the battle. 3 barbarian kings appeared on the battlefield, all of them above the Tao realm 9 transformation realm. The barbarian king of a large tribe, or even several large tribes, had to be a barbarian with a Tao realm 9 transformation glass body or above. These barbarian kings are strong. One of them is even at the 13 transformation realm. Mu Yi smiled. Look, the 3 barbarian kings have a formation created by the barbarian saint, the 3 origin life and death formation. It gathers their Xiantian earth energy and souls together, making it extremely powerful. These 3 barbarian kings are all disciples of the barbarian saint, and the dead demon's Laughter Crown Prince's senior and junior brothers. We must take revenge this time. The barbarian saint is the true soul of the barbarian race, and his cultivation is on par with the ancient saints. Bao Ming'er said, it was because of this person that the barbarians were able to reach an agreement with the many evil gods that the barbarians were able to prosper. They even showed signs of getting rid of the evil gods. Why doesn't the Heavenly Talisman Emperor kill him? Huangfu Fengyun asked. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor didn't have the suppression of the Heavenly Tao, he could have killed him. But as the great Yanko court grew stronger, the world's fate was in full swing, and the ancient changes caused the human chi to soar into the sky, offending the Heavenly Tao. So the Heavenly Talisman Emperor sent down many disasters. But the Heavenly Talisman Emperor is suppressing 90% of his power. Otherwise, the world would have suffered a long time ago. In addition, the barbarian saint has signed a contract with many evil gods to help each other. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor also has to divert his attention to block the demon passage in the bottomless sea of sin to prevent the demons from descending. He also has to guard against the immortal Tao. Yin Xian said, even if he has billions of spells, he can't kill everyone. If he gives up on the court and stops suppressing the divine prefecture, he can use all his power. Luo Wu suddenly said, then who can stop him? Hearing this, many people fell silent. Right, where's Gu Chunsha? Why did it suddenly disappear? Mu Yi asked with a smile. He has many secrets on him. Although his cultivation is low, he is deep and unfathomable. He cannot be underestimated. Huangfu Fengyun spoke. Everyone says that he has the worst aptitude out of all the sons of the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. But after interacting with him, I feel that he truly isn't an ordinary person. He's extremely shrewd and doesn't have the pampered aura of a prince. Look, even the experts of the demon race have come out. That's the Thunder Beast King, Lei Wuxia. He leads the Thunder Beast tribe and is one of the most powerful demon races in the Desolate Mountains. Luo Wu pointed to the front. Suddenly, a wild beast that looked like a giant elephant appeared. It had a spiral horn, and it released intense lightning that was deafening and powerful. The lightning beast's body flickered with lightning, and its demonic aura soared to the heavens. Occasionally, a small humanoid figure would appear on its head. This was the primordial spirit. This lightning beast had already cultivated to the 14 transformation of the Dao realm, the Yuan Shun realm. The lightning beast itself was a primordial mutated species that could emit lightning. It was extremely intelligent, almost as if it had the intelligence of a human. If it was guided by an expert, its cultivation would be extremely fast. As for this Lei Wuxia, he had obtained the guidance of demon sage Li Wanlong by chance. His cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds, and he had actually cultivated to the 14 transformations of primordial divinity. As long as he advanced another 2 transformations, he would be able to reincarnate into a corpse and seize the physical body of a human. However, the lightning beast body was much stronger than a human's. It wasn't worth it to abandon its original body and take over a human's body. Only by cultivating to the 17 transformation, the Tao-splitting soul doppelganger could one split into 3, and one Yuan Shun would be able to find the body of an unparalleled genius to take over. So many experts. This Thunder Beast King. From the Sun-Moon altar, Gu Chansha observed the battlefield carefully. He could already see all the experts at a glance. The demons and barbarians attacked Lu Baiwei and the Fourth. However, the 2 of them relied on the 10,000 miles soaring cloud flag to move extremely fast, so it was difficult for them to catch up. But at this moment, the 3 barbarian kings joined forces and took out some kind of Dharma treasure. Spider silk filled the sky and gradually spread out, like a net to stop the 2 of them from moving. The Thunder Beast King was even more powerful. It didn't chase them and just roared loudly. With every roar, Lu Baiwei and the Fourth's flight would be interrupted. They didn't know what kind of spiritual deterrence divine art it used. Gu Chansha swooshed out of the Sun-Moon altar. He was invisible and formless. His speed was as fast as a shadow. Without a sound, he appeared behind the 3 barbarian kings. The demon's subduing blade in his hand trembled slightly and stabbed out 3 times, enveloping the 3 barbarian kings. Attack! Light exploded, almost piercing through the sun and moon. Xiantian energy gathered on the demon subduing blade, but it didn't shoot out. Instead, it circulated. This was the Sun-Moon slaughter. It was also the Sun-Moon slaughter which used the clumsy fist as the foundation. The clumsy fist was the foundation, and along with the Sun-Moon slaughter, it complemented each other. It used the clumsiness of the people to show off the brilliance of the Sun-Moon Emperor. Without the people, what was the point of the Sun-Moon brilliance? An eye-catching light exploded and killing energy surged. It was as if the sun and moon were being summoned, causing phenomenons in heaven and earth. Once Gu Chansha broke through to the 6th transformation of the Dao realm, he also cultivated the King Dragon armor and Demon Subduing Blade. At this moment, the killing strength of the Sun-Moon slaughter increased by dozens of times. The Sun-Moon Dragon energy was indestructible. Pucci. Before the 3 barbarian kings could react, they saw the sun and moon descend from the sky and explode beside them. Then, they didn't know what happened. 3 heads flew into the air and their bodies were sliced into pieces. Their flesh and souls instantly disappeared. Within the Sun-Moon altar, 3 blood balls appeared. The 3 famous barbarian kings were instantly killed, and they didn't even have a chance to fight back. The few treasures on their bodies were all kept into the Sun-Moon altar. This is Luo Wu and the others paid close attention to the battlefield. Gu Chench's sudden appearance shocked them. What they didn't expect was that the moment he appeared, he killed the 3 barbarian kings. This person's killing strength. Just now, the light exploded and killing energy swept the wilderness. The sun and moon fell, and the land was covered in it. The aura was so vast that it terrified all of them. Gu Chensha didn't stop and pounced towards the lightning beast king, lightning martial vengeance. He pounced forwards and hit his body. In the next instant, he appeared in the distance and pounced once more before disappearing once more. He was just like a ghost. Lightning beast king, lightning martial vengeance locked onto him. The horn on his head shot out lightning, but it missed several times. Instead, it allowed him to get close to him. Calm. The thunder wuxa's body suddenly surged with large amounts of lightning. It was extremely dense and spread outwards with a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Such might could even destroy mountains. But at this time, Gu Chansha had already appeared beside it and stabbed out with his sword. A whirlpool appeared on the sword and absorbed the lightning astral energy cleanly. Many of the lightning rays that bombarded his body also disappeared in an instant. It was as if he was a bottomless abyss that could absorb any existence. The Dragon Transformation Pagoda had transformed into the Dragon Gate. Even the experts of the chaotic demonic ape temple didn't expect that one day this treasure would undergo such a transformation. In an instant, Gu Chansha ignored all attacks and closed in once more. He struck out with his sword. It was still the sun-moon slaughter combined with the clumsy fist 9 arts. Resplendent light covered the 9 heavens. The sun and moon fell, and the people cried. This sword move was invincible and could cut through anything. The sun and moon astral dragons sighed, faintly, as if the ancient saints were lamenting the hardships of the people. It seemed like the ancient gods were lamenting. It turned out that the gods weren't immortal. They were invincible from the moment they came out of the cave. This was Gu Chench's current state. One sword pressed down and ghosts and gods bowed. Puchi. All the body-protecting energy was sliced open like oil. Gu Chansha ignored all defenses, and the demon descending blade was like the punishment of the heavens as it stabbed into the body of the lightning beast king, lightning martial vengeance. Lightning martial vengeance was an expert at the 14 transformation of the Tao realm, but in front of Gu Chansha, there was nothing he could do. Any attack that touched Gu Chench's body would totally disappear. Calm. After being stabbed by the sword, lightning martial vengeance cried out in pain. But it wasn't like the 3 barbarian kings. It was a lightning beast, and its life force far exceeded that of humans. When it was injured, the earth energy around its body rotated, and a destructive demonic energy exploded. The moment it spread outwards, everyone sensed an extremely dangerous aura. Demon destroying the world. Many experts retreated in fear of being affected by this move. Lightning martial vengeance raised his claw and gathered earth energy. He was unbelievably quick and used demon destroying the world to lock onto Gu Chench's demon descending blade. Honglong. A huge amount of earth energy spread out. When the ripples dissipated, Gu Chensha stood there proudly. He held his sword and didn't move at all, like he was unharmed. Lightning martial vengeance's giant body flew into the air. Blood dripped from his claw, and he was actually stabbed. What? He dares to face demon destroying the world head-on? Mu Yexiao's eyes opened wide. Demon destroying the world was created by monster saintly Wan Long, and it is the limit of earth energy. Even I have to avoid it, and can't take it head-on. Especially when lightning martial vengeance is used with the body of a lightning beast. The earth energy is so thick that it can destroy everything. But he is actually unharmed? Is he still human? Bao Ming, was clear. Dragon Transformation Tower? No. Even if the Dragon Transformation Tower can absorb Xiantian earth energy, it shouldn't be able to reach such a level. Did he improve it? Bao Ming, knew that Gu Chansha had the Dragon Transformation Tower. Kill. At that moment, before the celestial disciples could react, Gu Chansha attacked once more. The demon descending blade in his hand changed endlessly like a magic trick. It burst forth with a brilliant light, and it didn't take any time to reach Lightning Martial Vengeance's head. Lightning Martial Vengeance raised his claw again. It was as big as a door, and Sciention Earth energy formed runes on it. The runes formed layers of trajectories and arcs as he fought with Guchen Sha. Lightning Martial Vengeance's body was huge, but his martial arts were as light as a butterfly. It was obvious that he had cultivated his martial arts to the extreme. Chapter 189. Pung Pung Pung. In just a few breaths, Gu Chunsha and Lei Wuxia had clashed hundreds of times. They didn't use any tricks and just fought head-on to see who was the strongest, whose Sciention Earth energy was the longest and toughest, and whose body was the sturdiest. In terms of body toughness, lightning beasts far exceeded humans of the same realm. But Gu Chincha's body was the sun and moon dragon body, so lightning beasts couldn't gain any advantage in front of him. The key was that the dragon gate in his body could absorb all the damage from Sciention Earth energy and turn it into dragon energy. This made him immune to lightning beasts' killing moves. Moreover, lightning beasts couldn't dissolve his sun and moon slaughter and clumsy fist. Sun and moon slaughter was a simple move before Tao Realm 6 transformations. But once one cultivated Sciention Earth energy, it would be totally different. Sciention Earth energy would be used through sun and moon slaughter, and its killing power would start to show. Yin and Yang intersected, sun and moon slaughter, and the sun and moon dragon energy worked together. How could demons and ghosts block it? There was another loud explosion as the two experts separated. Lei Wuxia's body was covered in injuries, and his aura was weak. Gu Qinsha held his sword and floated in the air. The demon descending blade shone brightly like an undefeatable god of war. Lei Wuxia's giant eyes stared right at Gu Qinsha. He activated the earth energy on his body once more and glided backwards. He was actually trying to escape. "You want to leave?" Gu Qinsha was expressionless. He pounced forwards and chased. Lei Wuxia's speed actually couldn't compare to his. He was already a genius and had cultivated Sciention Earth energy. Although he hadn't merged all his techniques, he had slowly comprehended them. The 10,000-mile flying cloud escape that Lu Baiwei had taught him was circulating in his body. The Sciention Earth energy and King Dragon armor merged, and his speed increased. He was like a rainbow shooting through the sun as he charged right in front of Lei Wuxia. The sword slashed, and the earth energy broke. Lei Wuxia was astonished to the extreme, and he raised his enormous claw once more, condensing all his astral energy into a single point as he executed demon annihilation of the world once more. This time, Gu Chunsha didn't dodge. Instead, he met force with force and forcefully allowed the demon exterminating the world to strike his body. After that, the demon subduing blade cut through the top of Lei Wuxia's head and sent the sun and moon annihilation activated by the sun and moon dragon's handle into his body. Rumble! Lei Wuxia's head exploded, and a human figure flew out. The massive Sciention astral energy in his body started to go berserk. But at this moment, Gu Qinsha drew a circle, and the huge whirlpool sucked and sucked. Buzz! All of Lei Wuxia's innate stellar energy and the humanoid Yuan Shun were absorbed. Then its huge body was pushed into some kind of spatial crack and disappeared. When Gu Qinsha drew a circle, he executed the god-devouring art of the great massacre god art. He had learned this art from Lu Baiwei, but he had never been able to comprehend it. But after he became a genius, he had a slight comprehension of this technique. He suddenly used it and killed Lei Wuxia in one strike. The famous lightning beast king Lei Wuxia was killed just like that. Even his soul energy was sucked into the depths of the Dragon Gate. Although Tao Realm Transformation 14 experts could leave the body, the soul didn't have much attack ability and was really weak. It was even afraid of astral winds and all sorts of changes in the magnetic field. Only when one reached the 15 transformation would one's heaven eye be able to float in the air. Then, one soul would be extremely condensed and one would be able to use the power of gods to attack. The moment Lei Wuxia's soul and Xiantian astral energy were sucked into the Dragon Gate, they were scattered by the vast Xiantian astral energy and turned into dragon energy. The dragon energy then formed a dragon pellet. This dragon pellet was enough to turn two normal people into geniuses. It far exceeded the tiger wolf pellet. However, the dragon elixir was no longer useful to Gu Qinsha. He was already a genius. He had gained a lot this time. A dragon pellet that could raise two stupid people to geniuses, as well as a Tao Realm Transformation 14 Lightning Beast Corpse. This Lightning Beast Corpse was extraordinary, and its flesh and bones were all top-grade herbs. It was far better than all sorts of treasures. Normal Lightning Beasts weren't simple, and the Tao Realm Transformation Glass J-Body Lightning Beast was a true treasure. One drop of blood contained lightning power, and it could be used to craft many treasures, much less a Tao Realm Transformation 14 Lightning Beast. Who knew how many times this Lightning Beast body had been cultivated and nurtured by spiritual energy? Its flesh and blood were the purest spiritual energy essence, and along with the lightning essence, Gu Qinsha obtained such a huge beast. Its value was immeasurable. Moreover, he learned how to refine treasures from Bao Ming, and knew the value of these corpses. He also knew how to refine them to the maximum benefit. The Tao Realm Transformation 14 Lightning Beast King Lei Wuxia was killed just like that. Luo Wu and the others looked at one another and knew the pros and cons. Even if we work together, it will be tough to kill Lei Wuxia. Even if we do, we will drag one or two of us down with us. How did his cultivation become so high? Mu Yexiao had been stationed at Gu Qinsha's land for a while and knew about Gu Qinsha's cultivation. Now, it seemed like although his cultivation was far below theirs, his combat strength was far above theirs. Moreover, Gu Qinsha wasn't afraid of Xiantian energy, and he wasn't afraid of soul snatching. Mental attacks were useless against him, and that was the terrifying part. Actually, a Tao Realm Transformation 6 expert couldn't fight against a Transformation 14 expert. As long as he sucked in a little and used ghost swallowing technique, his soul would be snatched away. Just now, Lightning Beast King Lei Wuxia's roar shook Lu Baiwei and the fourth, but it was useless against Gu Qinsha. In truth, even Gu Qinsha didn't think that after the heaven ritual decree merged into his mind, no one would be able to snatch away his soul. In the blink of an eye, the three barbarian kings and the monster race Lightning Beast King all died. They were all killed by Gu Qinsha alone. The time he needed was just dozens of breaths. At that moment, Lu Baiwei, the fourth, Li Wangsheng, and Yuan Shashing's battle was in full swing. Gu Qinsha hollered and sent out a signal. Lu Baiwei and the fourth rode the 10,000-mile flying cloud flag and instantly met up with him. At that moment, Li Wangsheng and the others stopped chasing and faced the three of them once more. Congratulations, you have finally broken through to Tao Realm Transformation 6. Lu Baiwei observed Gu Qinsha's changes. With this breakthrough, all the treasures on your body have transformed, and you are actually able to kill Lightning Beast King Lei Wuxia. Such results are really rare. Even a top genius wouldn't be able to challenge a Transformation 14 expert at Tao Realm Transformation 6. The gap is just too huge. 19th brother, is the treasure in your body the Dragon Transformation Tower? The tower is really exquisite and far exceeds normal treasures. It was made by the Dragon Sect. One must know that the legendary Dragon Sect was a treasure similar to the Heaven Worship Talisman. The fourth saw through it. Yes, I have refined this tower for many days, and it is really amazing. If not for its ability, I wouldn't have been able to deal with the Lightning Beast King with my own strength. Gu Qinsha circled around with a calm expression. Although many experts were staring at him aggressively, he didn't fear anything at all. You have accumulated a lot of strength, but you are still at Tao Realm Transformation 6. You aren't really good at using Xiantian Earth energy, and you aren't able to reach Tao Realm Transformation 7. Your strength is lacking. Lu Baiwei said, I've also gained something from this battle. Once this is over, you and I should cultivate well and improve further. We are in troubled times now. We need to improve our cultivation level as fast as possible. We can't afford to make mistakes. Gu Qinsha knew that if he and Lu Baiwei worked together to cultivate, their Xiantian earth energy would circulate in each other's bodies, and they would improve by leaps and bounds. But at such a level, both of them wouldn't have any secrets, and they would be even closer than a couple. Previously, when he was at the Sun-Moon altar with Lu Baiwei, their blood had circulated in their bodies. Lu Baiwei had also used the Sun-Moon dragon blood and the Great Massacre God art to fuse together. His cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds, and even his aptitude had improved. Something in his body had awakened, and now he was already an unparalleled genius. Gu Qinsha also obtained many benefits. He used Lu Baiwei's god, Slaughtering Flame, to purify the Sun-Moon dragon blood and refine his body. If not, his cultivation wouldn't have reached such a realm. Now that he had successfully cultivated the Sun and Moon dragon energy, if he were to cultivate it with Lu Baiwei, who knew what kind of earth-shattering changes would occur when their energies intertwined. Congratulations, 19th brother. It seems that under Father's matchmaking, you and Baiwei's wedding is near. The fourth saw some clues. Fourth brother, you are making fun of me. Gu Qinsha looked at Lu Baiwei. Lu Baiwei was expressionless and changed the topic. We must benefit from this trip to Buzhou Palace. But this is just the appetizer. There are more powerful people who haven't appeared yet. Yuan Shasheng, Li Wangsheng, and this Laha are already top figures. They are comparable to some of the great elders of the immortal Dao sects. If there are more top figures, there will be some old antiques who don't show themselves. The fourth said casually. But now that old 19 has increased his strength, we might not lose to those old fellows if we work together. Baiwei, you still have some treasures and techniques that you haven't used. Why don't we go all out and kill these 3 people in front of us? Lu Baiwei indeed hadn't used any powerful treasures, such as the vast thousand mirror and the profound vast dragon ship. She had held back because she was afraid that other experts would sneak up on her. It should be known that the appearance of Buzhou Palace was like blood attracting sharks in the sea. Who knew how many experts would come? If they fought and both sides were injured and others took advantage of them, it would not be worth it. Guasha, aren't you being a little too arrogant? At this time, Yuan Shasheng said, I know that you have hidden yourself well and have many tricks up your sleeves. I also know your background, but if you want to kill me, I'm afraid you can't do it. He looked at Gu Qinsha and said, You little thief, you actually barged into my divine temple and stole the heavenly demonic relic, the 7 Saints Heart refining pill, the black tortoise egg, and even the dragon transformation tower. You basically wiped out everything in one go. If you didn't steal the dragon transformation tower, you wouldn't have the ability to do this today. Yuan Shasheng, what can you do to me? Gu Qinsha pointed with the demon subduing blade. Chapter 190. Yuan Shasheng, I know you're also hiding many things, but you've spent your entire life's effort on the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. In order to refine this pagoda, you've killed who knows how many ancient giant beasts, and you've even harmed many living beings, sacrificed to the evil god, and taken things by force. You've offended people everywhere, excavated many ancient tombs, and finally refined the prototype of the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. If Qinsha hadn't taken this pagoda away, I'm afraid you would have used this pagoda to cultivate the golden elixir of the 18 transformations, Lu Baiwei said. While speaking, she grabbed Gu Qinsha's hand. Xiantian energy charged into his body. When Gu Qinsha sensed this stellar energy, he immediately activated the Sun and Moon Dragon handle in his body to meet it. Their Xiantian energy instantly intertwined in their bodies. Gu Qinsha felt that his Sun and Moon Dragon handle, which was a little difficult to use, became much more agile. Dao Realm 6 transformation Xiantian energy could only be released but couldn't be retracted. Gu Chansha estimated that he would need to cultivate for a few more months to be able to use it freely. Only then would he be able to break through to the seventh transformation. At that time, his combat strength would increase by several times. Dao Realm 7 Transformation's usage of Xiantian energy was far from what 6 Transformation could compare to. Now, Lu Baiyue's Xiantian energy merged with his Sun and Moon Dragon handle, and it actually started to transform. Both of their energies became really agile and thicker. Gu Chansha injected all of his Sun and Moon Dragon handle into Lu Baiyue's body, while Lu Baiyue's God, slaying energy, entered his body too. Just like that, the cycle repeated. Every breath was a big cycle. Under the continuous cycle, Gu Chensh's Xiantian energy swallowed and spat out. It boiled like flames and spun around his meridians. Lu Baiyue's cultivation was also nourished by the Sun and Moon Dragon handle. It was like adding oil to a fire. Black and white energy surged out from her head and intertwined with one another, forming all sorts of pictures. Gotcha! She actually broke through another level and reached Dao Realm Transformation 12, Soul Snatching. As for Gu Chansha, the astral energy in his body came to life, merging with his will. It spun a few times in his mind, then suddenly flew out, transforming into numerous dragons and snakes behind him, which then burrowed back into his body. He also cultivated to Dao Realm Transformation 7 and rose into the air. At the same time, he also understood the foundation of the 7 transformations. It was to fuse Xiantian astral energy with one's will, causing the astral energy to be imbued with one's heart-blood aura. After circulating it many times, it would become something like an arm. That way, it could be retracted and released at will. It could take on many forms, be it sabers, swords, bows, birds, humans, beasts. If one cultivated to the Dao Realm 8 Transformation Samadhi True Fire, the Xiantian energy would be much more agile and its strength would be much stronger. The pinnacle of innate stellar energy was to multitask 1,000 times with one's mind. When one reached this level, one's mind would be divided into 1,000 parts, and the circulation of innate energy would also be endless. Buzz, just like that, in the space of a few dozen breaths, the two of them had both risen to higher levels. They looked at each other, and both felt that their astral energies had fused together and cultivated with each other. It was truly seamless, completely natural, and inseparable. Only then did they understand why the Heaven Talisman Emperor tried so many times to bring them together. After cultivating to Dao Realm 7 Transformation, Gu Chansha was several times stronger than when he killed the Lightning Beast King. If he faced the Lightning Beast King now, he would be able to kill it instantly. He wouldn't even have a chance to fight back. Sun Moon Kills mysteries all relied on the Xiantian astral energy. Moreover, there were many techniques to craft treasures that required the use of Xiantian astral energy. I really envy the two of you. The fourth sensed the changes and exclaimed, "Father's taste isn't bad. The two of you are really a suitable couple." The two of you, Yuan Shasheng, Li Wangsheng, and Lulu Ha looked at Gu Chansha and Lu Baiyue holding hands and their auras getting stronger and stronger. They were instantly filled with fear. The two of you improved again? Li Wangsheng wanted to retreat. He had seen how Gu Chansha had killed the Thunder Beast King, Lei Wuxia. He and Lei Wuxia could be considered fellow disciples. Lei Wuxia had once been taught by his father, Li Wanlong, and was now the leader of the Thunder Beast tribe. He was the backbone of the nest of 10,000 dragons, but he had actually been killed without a sound. Gu Chansha, who he didn't care about at all, was now a huge enemy in his heart. In terms of strength, Gu Chansha was indeed a strong enemy. How comfortable! My King Dragon Armor, Demon Descending Blade, and Dragon Gate are all being nourished. As the Sun and Moon Dragon energy cycled back and forth, it once again rushed into the 3 magic treasures. Even Lu Baiyue could feel the wonders of the Dragon Gate. You actually turned the Dragonization Pagoda into the prototype of the Dragon Gate. This is no small matter. However, the Dragon Gate is still weak and needs nourishment. I have an idea. Your sea-carrying gourd can store innate stellar energy and other treasures. It has its own space inside and can be refined into the Dragon Gate, Lu Baiwei said carefully. I'm also proficient in refining treasures. However, to refine a treasure with its own space into the Dragon Gate, one must be an ancient almighty who has cultivated to the level of seamless realm. Gu Chensha frowned. It's fine. Don't forget, you can use the heavenly Tao to refine it. Lu Baiwei said, with the sacrificial method, as long as you have enough souls, you can do anything. This was soul transmission directly appearing in the mind. That's a good idea. I can use the seamless sacrificial art. As long as I use the interlinking branches and the offering of souls, I will be able to fuse two magic treasures intimately together. Gu Qinsha quickly considered the matter. The sea-carrying gourd was a treasure from Buzhou Palace. It was a container used by the emperor to store heaven dew. If it was merged into the Dragon Gate, it would benefit the Dragon Gate. If the two of us work together, along with the fourth, can we fight against Tao realm transformation experts? Gu Chansha observed the situation around. Tao realm, 18 transformation, grand, Tao, golden core, level experts can't do anything to us. Lu Baiwei was really confident. But if we face such an expert, we still have to be careful. Golden core is formed from the combination of one's soul and sentient energy, along with the 5-element changes and heaven and earth lightning techniques. Once the golden core is formed, one's lifespan will increase by 1,000 years. Gu Chensha nodded his head. He knew that the Tao realm 9 transformation glass jade body could at most live for 300 years. Even if one cultivated a 16, they could at most extend their lifespan to 500 years. Each time one used a body, one soul would be heavily damaged. After cultivating the 18 transformation Grand Tao Golden Core, one would at least have 1,000 years of lifespan. Not only that, but the attacks and methods of the Golden Core Tao were not ordinary and were totally unimaginable. Once they were used, they could break mountains and rivers with a flip of their palms. The three of them faced off against the other three. Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiwei, Gu Huasha, the 3 department heads of Jingxian Division. Li Wangsheng, Yuan Shasheng, Leha, 2 barbarian race patriarchs, and 1 monster saint's son. They all represented the top powers. Originally, when the imperial court set up Jingxian Division, many people were laughing at them. But this time, Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiwei, and Gu Huasha had appeared out of nowhere and killed many elites of the Brute tribe. They had established their might in one fell swoop, and no one dared to look down on them anymore. Outside Buzhou Palace, Luo Xiao and Jin Suebua were hiding and watching. I didn't expect this kid to be so amazing. Jin Suebua acted like this was the first time he had seen Gu Qinsha. Even if I thought that he wasn't ordinary, it still exceeded my understanding. One Lu Baiwei is already shocking enough. He can actually fight against the natural Saint Fa Wuxian. Luo Xiao was very respectful of the natural saint. This Gu Chansha is also not simple. I wonder who will get this Buzhou Palace. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor acted, then Buzhou Palace must belong to the Imperial Court. But now it seems that the Heavenly Talisman Emperor doesn't want to act, but sent these 3 juniors to train them. Jin Suebua said, and the barbarian saint died, and Li Wanlong didn't act. The situation is a bit confusing, but this Buzhou Palace is not a small matter. All the powers want it. Maybe they are waiting for a chance to act. As soon as he finished, suddenly, something strange happened. In the distance, a rainbow descended. The rainbow dissipated, and a group of people appeared in the center of Buzhou Palace. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing a red robe and a red crown. He looked extremely dignified, and his aura was like that of the Lord of the Immortal Tao. He held great power in his hands, and he walked like a dragon. Even the most ordinary person would feel that this person held supreme power when they saw him. Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect's Grand Elder, Xiaoyan. This person is one of the true leaders of Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect. He is in charge of one of the 9 great celestial palaces, flame cloud palace. He has cultivated to the great Tao golden core long ago, and his cultivation is unfathomable. He is probably above 20 changes of Tao realm. Jean Suebwa said fiercely, "It seems like Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect is determined to get this Buzhou Palace." Xiaoyan, this person is an unparalleled genius. He entered Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect 300 years ago and cultivated to the great Tao 150 years ago. Luo Xiao knew some secrets. Let's see how many changes he is at. Anyone who can cultivate to 18 changes of the great Tao in a celestial sect has to announce it to the world. All the celestial sects will send people to congratulate them and hold a banquet to show that a talent has appeared in the sect. I was invited before, but I was busy and didn't go. Jean Suebwa sighed. This Xiao Yin has brought such a large group of experts. I'm afraid no one can compete with him. However, Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect suffered a great loss a few days ago. Elder Wangji was cultivating in the sect when the Heavenly Talisman Emperor actually captured him from the imperial court. He is now locked up and treated as a slave. He has to repair bridges and roads among the people and concoct pills to save people. He will only be released after 3 years of hard labor. There is such a thing that Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect has lost so much face. They will definitely be irreconcilable with the imperial court. Luo Xiao's body shook. At this time, the 6 people separated and looked at the people from Scarlet Cloud Mystic Sect. You are the 3 department heads of the newly established Calming Immortal Bureau? Xiaoyan's gaze swept across the area. He ignored Yuan Shasheng, Li Wangsheng, and Leluha. Instead, he looked at Gu Qinsha, Lu Baiwei, and the 4th. Lu Baiwei frowned. She felt a strong sense of enmity. Gu Qinsha nodded slightly yes. Chapter 191. Haha. Gu Huasha laughed out loud. I have never seen such an arrogant person. It seems like the lesson from Red Cloud Profound Sect wasn't enough. Who gave all of you the guts to go against the imperial court? I represent His Majesty, and I hold the token as if I were here in person. Whoever looks down on me is looking down on His Majesty, and the Crimson Cloud Profound Sect is being disrespectful. Lu Baiyue's tone became even colder, but Gu Qinsha could already feel the overwhelming killing intent in her heart. Then let's fight. Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwei communicated with one another. Their Xiantian earth energy became more and more nimble. He had reached the 7th transformation of Tao realm, and many exquisite techniques appeared in his mind. His fighting spirit boiled, and he couldn't suppress it. During this period of time, his cultivation had been rising, and he wanted to use the battle to consolidate his foundation. He wasn't someone who was afraid of trouble. You 3 brats actually dare to spout such arrogant words. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Kneel. Xiaoyan raised his hand. Honglong. From all directions, an endless force pressed down on him. This power didn't come from Xiaoyan himself, but from an unknown power that came from nowhere. Palipala. Instantly, Lu Baiwei, Gu Qinsha, and the 4th felt the air freeze like an invisible mountain was pressing down on them. Without hesitation, a black and white lotus appeared above Lu Baiyue's head. It expanded in the blink of an eye. Within the black and white lotus, many runes and characters flickered and flickered, resisting the tremendous pressure. The 4th Gu Huasha's clothes fluttered in the wind, like he wasn't afraid of this huge pressure. A mocking expression appeared on his face, and it was as if he wasn't in this space anymore. Gu Qinsha activated the dragon gate in his body, and the sun and moon dragon energy turned into a whirlpool. He was actually absorbing this huge force for his own use. Xiaoyan, take out your true ability. The 4th Gu Huasha said slowly. You think you can suppress us with just this little bit of feng shui essence energy? You underestimate our tranquil immortal department too much. Very good, you actually have the ability. Xiaoyan sneered. If you want to fight me, then don't blame me for being ruthless. You talk too much. A bow and 2 arrows emerged from Lu Baiyue's black and white lotus. And Xiao Yin looked at the bow and the two arrows and suddenly roared, "Sword, come!" A long sword appeared in his hand, and with a slash in the air, he actually made a move before Lu Baiwei. The sword in the sky was mighty and majestic, as if the entire world was occupied by this sword. Heaven and earth split open, the long river and the sun set. Under this attack, the three of them were enveloped by the sword aura and had no chance to dodge. This was Xiao Yan's full power attack. Lu Baiwei's murderous aura was boundless, and her innate upstanding qi was burning like black and white flames. Gu Chencha's demon-subduing blade was also bursting with the light of the sun and the moon. The fourth had his hands behind his back, and a pearl was faintly discernible between his eyebrows. It seemed that he was about to show his true strength. But at this moment, a figure flashed into the sword aura. This figure cut into the sword aura, and with a pinch of 2 fingers, the sky, full of sword light, disappeared. The sword was pinched by her, and Xiao Yin couldn't retract it. This figure was a woman, Duke of Mei Shichou. When Lu Baiwei saw this woman appear, she retracted her innate upstanding qi. This person was Duke of Mei Shichou, who guarded the border of Eastern Wilderness and dealt with the celestial Dao sects. She was a trusted aide of Heavenly Talisman Emperor and one of the 3 dukes and 8 marquises. Gu Chunsha and Gu Huasha also retracted their strength, and they waited to see how Duke of Mei would act. Heaven and earth, 8 strikes, chasing 3,000 waves, central blazing flame, protect my longevity. Xiao Yan's sword was pinched by Duke of Mei, and his eyebrows were raised. His entire body was covered in flames, and he suddenly pulled out his sword. Duke of Mei Shichou didn't stop him. He released his fingers and bowed slightly. "Greetings, Princess Yuefu, Prince Chun, and Prince Hua. Duke of Mei, you don't have to be so polite." Lu Baiwei remained calm. "Duke of Mei guards the Eastern Wilderness, and you were given the responsibility of supervising the celestial Dao mystical sect by the Emperor. This time, Qishao mystic sect was rude to the Emperor. What do you think, Duke of Mei?" "Kill them, of course." Duke of Mei Shichou said this casually, as if she didn't care about Qishao mystic sect at all. She turned around and looked at Qishao. "Xiao Yan, what do you have to say?" "Shichou, you've abandoned yourself. You were originally the supreme elder of Qishao Yin, and I've heard of your name since I was young. You're an old senior that's close to 1,000 years old, but you're still infatuated with that little kid, Heaven Talisman Emperor, and left your sect to become his subordinate. You've shamed our celestial Dao." Xiao Yin stood with his sword, and his words shocked Gu Chensha. This Duke of Mei Shichou looked like a young girl in her 20s, but who knew that she was an old antique that was close to 1,000 years old. The Heaven Talisman Emperor appeared out of nowhere, and he was only in his 40s now. Compared to these celestial Dao figures, he was indeed a little kid. Xiao Yan was also an old monster that was hundreds of years old. "What do you know?" Duke of Mei Shichou's tone didn't seem to care at all. "Xiao Yan, since you're the great elder of Qishao mystic sect and a rare talent, you should leave quickly." 3 days later, go to Calmness Celestial Bureau to admit your guilt, pay the fine and taxes, and serve the people for 3 years, just like Elder Wanji. "Shichou, you're courting death." Xiao Yan was furious. "Sigh, if that's the case, then I can't protect you?" Duke of Mei Shichou sighed. "You're courting death. I'm not afraid of offending Qishao mystic sect, because Qishao mystic sect seems to have decided on a sect strategy to go against the imperial court. Since that's the case, this ancient sect that has existed for tens of thousands of years should be destroyed." Wait. At this moment, another voice came from afar. The void split open, and dust exploded. A young man appeared, handsome and resolute. The moment he appeared, everyone immediately retreated. Xiao Yan's expression changed, and Duke of Mei Shichou's expression became serious. Grand Preceptor Wenhong. Gu Qinsha recognized this young man. He was the former son of Destiny, Grand Preceptor Xian Chao Wenhong. The two of them had chatted for a while, and Gu Qinsha learned about his mother's past from him. Wenhong, Gu Qinsh's mother, Ling Xing, and the heavenly talisman emperor, Gu Taxian, were once companions. Just like the three people in front of him, Lu Baiwei, Gu Chansha, and Gu Huasha. The moment Grand Preceptor Wen Hong appeared, he immediately became the center of attention. Even the celestial cultivators, demonic cultivators, and even some hidden figures were suppressed by him. Li Wangsheng, Yuan Shasheng, and Leluha immediately retreated. Qinsha, how about I discuss something with you? Wen Hong appeared and looked at Gu Chansha. Uncle Wen, please speak. Gu Chansha bowed slightly. The other party was his mother's good friend, and by right, he was also his elder. He couldn't be rude. Moreover, this person treated him well. I'll temporarily borrow this Buzhou palace. Wen Hong said, I want to use the celestial apparatus to deduce where the giant spirit will be after reincarnation, and then find the remnant soul of Ling Xing. When I'm done, I'll return it to you. How about that? What? You could deduce that? Gu Qinsha was shocked. If that's the case, it's impossible that father couldn't deduce it. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees the game more clearly. Wen Hong smiled. The Great Spirit God and Ling Xing are important chess pieces for the heavenly Tao to deal with celestial trampling. Celestial trampling has many restrictions, and it won't be done in a day. I'm already an outsider, so I can beat around the bush and get some clues. Baiwei, what do you think? You call the shots here. Gu Qinsha asked. Grand Tutor Wen Hong, I know that you were once a good friend of the Emperor, and the Emperor has always cherished you. Why don't you work for the Imperial Court? Lu Baiwei cupped her hands. She knew that this person was a true expert. He was once the child of destiny, and his cultivation was earth-shattering. He was almost at the level of a god. Even the sect leader of the immemorial 72 mystical sects couldn't compare to him. She had to persuade him nicely. We just have different paths. Wen Hong waved his hand. Lady Lu, I don't want to argue with you about this, and I'm not your enemy. How about I borrow this Buzhou palace? The Buzhou palace has appeared, and we can't take it. Even if we give it to the Grand Tutor, will he be able to take it? The fourth Gu Huasha suddenly spoke. I still need to borrow something from Lady Lu. Wen Hong nodded. Is it the vast thousand mirror? Lu Baiwei had an idea. That's right. Wen Hong smiled. The vast thousand mirror and Zhou Tian Yi are two great treasures for divination. They're mutually attracted to each other. You being able to obtain the vast thousand mirror is a scheme for celestial treading, and it also shows your fate. This Buzhou palace will definitely belong to you in the future. The vast thousand mirror is a treasure, and I can't lend it to others. This is common sense. Lu Baiwei spoke the truth. I think the Grand Tutor can understand. Of course I won't lend it to you for free. Tell me, and I will agree to a request that isn't too much. Wen Hong said, Oh, Lu Baiwei pointed at Yuan Shasheng, Leluha, and Li Wangsheng. What if I kill these three? That's easy. Wen Hong looked at the three of them. Do you want to commit suicide, or do you want me to do it? You? The three's expressions changed. Brother One, if you want this Buzhou palace, I'll give it to you. Why make things difficult for my child? A voice came from afar. Following the voice, a black vortex appeared behind Yuan Shasheng and Li Wangsheng, swallowing the two of them. Only Leluha was left. Since Brother Wanlong has made a move, there's nothing I can do. Wen Hong shook his head and said to Leluha, You barbarian, you cause trouble at the border and kill my people. I tried to kill you several times, but the barbarian saint stopped me. Now that the barbarian saint is sealed by immortal trampling, it seems that I can't save you. Leluha didn't even look and immediately ran. But just as he moved, Wen Hong grabbed him lightly. Kacha, kacha! The space shattered and gradually condensed. Leluha's two bodies were completely frozen inside. Then, it gradually shrank and turned into a crystal ball, falling into Wen Hong's hand. Wen Hong threw the fist-sized crystal ball to Lu Baiwei. Miss Lu, that Yuan Shasheng and Li Wangsheng were saved by Li Wanlong. Li Wanlong is immortal trampling's father-in-law. It's not good for me to fight with Li Wanlong. Of course, his strength is above mine, so I can't do anything to him. This barbarian is yours. Do whatever you want with him. Wen Hong's earth-shattering means made everyone's faces turn ashen. Chapter 192. Forget it. Lu Baiwe held the crystal ball in her hand. She knew that Wen Hong's martial arts and magical arts were not something she could contend against. Fa Wuxian was a natural saint, while Wen Hong was the son of heaven. His aptitude was even higher than Fa Wuxian's. Even without Grand Preceptor Wen's help, I can still kill this fiend. However, if this fiend wants to escape, it's hard to say. Since we've agreed to temporarily borrow the Buzhou Palace, I hope that Grand Preceptor will return it to the calming immortal department after using it. Lu Baiwei agreed. As she spoke, she flicked her hand and threw the vast thousand mirror over. Wen Hong caught it and cupped his hands. There are many treasures in the depths of the Buzhou Palace, but I won't use any of them. When the time comes, I'll return them all. Lady Lu's future is limitless. Perhaps I'll have to rely on you during the great calamity. He was polite and didn't have the arrogance of someone who dominated the world. He was more like a weak scholar. Grand Preceptor, you're too polite. Lu Baiwe was thinking about something. This vast thousand mirror is extremely profound and unfathomable. Lady can't even use 10% of its power. I'll refine it so that you can use 30% of its power. That way, Xiaoyan won't be able to do anything to you. Wen Hong said casually. Xiaoyan's expression was extremely ugly. Wen Hong, you dare to look down on my Scarlet Firmament sect. Xiaoyan was furious. I'm telling you, this Buzhou Palace is a treasure of my Scarlet Firmament sect. Don't even think about taking it away. Scram! Wen Hong suddenly flicked his sleeves and teleported. Xiaoyan and the other experts of the Scarlet Firmament Profound sect were sent flying out of the Buzhou Palace. They spat out mouthfuls of blood, not to mention you. Even if your sect master came, I wouldn't put in my eyes. Who do you think you are? Wen Hong, just you wait. Xiaoyan soared into the sky and fled with the Scarlet Firmament sect's experts. Everyone, I'm going to cast a spell to take away this Buzhou Palace. You should all leave quickly. Do you have any objections? Wen Hong didn't care about Xiaoyan's threat. Originally, there were many experts hidden in Buzhou Palace, but now they all retreated, running faster than rabbits. No one dared to challenge Wen Hong. Only Lu Baiwei, Gu Chansha, Gu Huasha, and Shi Chou were among them. Wen Hong suddenly spat on the vast thousand mirror. The entire mirror flew into the air and transformed into a huge bright light. It hung there and rotated, as if another sun had appeared in the sky. The light shone down and illuminated all of Buzhou Palace. The light of the Hao Qian mirror seemed to have caused some movement in the depths of Buzhou Palace. Buzz Lu Baiwei and the other two stared in astonishment. In the depths of Buzhou Palace, there was a huge instrument. It was oval-shaped, with many rings connected to each other. It was like a constellation, revolving unceasingly. It was a marvelous work of art. This huge instrument had countless layers inside and outside, flashing and calculating. With the light of the Hao Qian mirror, the calculation speed suddenly increased. In the depths of Buzhou Palace, many formations were revolving. In an instant, the entire palace seemed to have come alive and was wriggling. A huge amount of void, spiritual energy descended. Other than that, there was also purple celestial energy that was like a rainbow that was being swallowed by the wriggling palace. The palace was like a living creature that had awakened. It was desperately absorbing the spiritual energy and celestial energy to replenish itself. Marvelous in all directions. Gu Qinsha had comprehended the Tao of Buzhou here before. It was very beneficial for martial arts. But now, he finally saw the profoundness of the Tao of Buzhou. Rise! Grand Preceptor Wen Hong used in earth-shattering divine art. His hands formed all sorts of complicated hand seals. There were cracks everywhere in the void. It was as if he had opened all sorts of passageways to another void. The fourth, Gu Chansha, and Lu Baiwei all watched, feeling the fluctuations of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It was as if they had sunk into the deepest level of martial arts. Duke Meishi Cho sighed and said, Wen Hong is indeed the son of heaven. Although he did not succeed and became a character like the ancient emperor, it was a blessing in disguise. He got rid of all sorts of fetters and was less affected by the mortal world. He was unable to bear the karma of all living beings. Could this also be the emperor's plan? The world was originally his. The emperor took it away, which was equivalent to bearing the karma of all living beings for him. Since ancient times, the emperor did not have a good ending. It was the karma of all living beings that was difficult to bear. 10,000 stars moved together. A vast starry sky appeared above Hong's head. It was vast and deep. Countless starlight shot down and surrounded his body. The fire of the stars instantly enveloped Buzhou Palace. This is the 10,000 stars flying technique, Lu Baiwei said, drawing the power of 10,000 stars to descend into the world. Every move has the unparalleled power of the stars. When cultivated to the extreme, it is like placing the primordial spirit in the starry sky. It is with the starry sky, existing forever between heaven and earth. Gu Qinsha was already a genius now. Watching Hong display it, he had many insights. He also understood that Hong seemed to have the intention of giving them pointers on martial arts. It was unknown how much astral energy gathered and rushed into the vast Qian mirror. Inside the mirror, tens of thousands of starry skies appeared, and they were constantly changing. Gu Qinsha saw the starry skies of the desolate era, the immemorial era, the ancient era, the medieval era, the near-ancient era, and the modern era. It turned out that the starry sky in the sky was also constantly changing. It was just that time passed extremely slowly. Stars also had a lifespan. Compared to stars, the lifespan of gods was extremely short. The lifespan of stars was hundreds of millions of years, billions of years. The most ancient gods were only tens of thousands of years. No god could live for more than 100,000 years. Between heaven and earth, nothing was immortal. Rumble. Just as Hong activated the 10,000 star flying celestial art and was about to take away the Buzhou Palace, a sword light suddenly slashed from the east. This sword light was vast and mighty, like a long river of heaven and earth. It was tens of thousands of miles long, and it wanted to kill Hong with one strike. It wanted to destroy everything within a radius of hundreds of miles, or even thousands of miles of the burial ground. The Nine Swords mystical gate sect leader has attacked, Duke Shicho said fiercely. Pitter-patter. At the same time, in another place, a fiery red glow seemed to be no weaker than this sword light. It also wanted to destroy Hong. Crimson Firmament sect leader. Ghosts wailed and gods howled. Another black gas appeared in the west. In the black gas, there was a demonic claw that covered the sky. It was as large as a mountain, and it wanted to take away the Buzhou Palace and Hong. The powerful barbarians have attacked. Duke Shicho was extremely shocked. 10,000 stars gathering God. Hong did not even look. Suddenly, a huge ancient god appeared above his head. This ancient god was formed from countless starlight, and it had 3 heads and 6 arms. The ancient god had 3 hands forming seals, and the other 3 hands formed planets. They were ancient, desolate, and silent. Rumble. The ancient god's 6 hands threw with all their might, smashing the planets in their hands. The 3 planets smashed the attacking sword Qi, fire clouds, and pitch-black hands into pieces. At the same time, there were 3 grunts in the distance. Hong defeated the 3 attacks and took back the ancient god. The starlight became even thicker, drowning the Buzhou Palace. 10,000 stars become immortals. Sun and moon gather spirit. Heavenly Tao only me. Creation only kin. His image was extremely ferocious. He did not look like the gentle scholar from before, but the Taoist ancestor Star King. Many mysteries deep in the Buzhou Palace were activated by him. The entire palace kept shrinking. In the end, it looked like a model appeared in his palm. Once the Buzhou Palace disappeared, a huge pit appeared in the center of the burial ground. It was pitch black and hundreds of miles wide. No one knew what was inside. Chilly winds blew from it, and it seemed to lead to an unknown demonic region. I finally took this Buzhou Palace. Wen Hong looked at the Buzhou Palace in his hand and passed the vast thousand mirror to Lu Baiwei. Miss Lu, I used a wondrous technique to refine the vast thousand mirror and activated many of its seals. You can study it yourself, and you will definitely gain many benefits. Also, in the process of taking the Buzhou Palace, I obtained the martial arts experience and mysteries of the last ancient emperor, Zhou, and the secrets of Zhou Tianyi. I will pass them all to you. As he spoke, Gu Chansha felt a mysterious thought pass over. Instantly, many rune diagrams and martial arts experiences appeared in the depths of his mind. These things needed a long time to digest. Now that the Buzhou Palace has been taken, the channel to suppress the demonic region has been opened. In the future, many demons will fly out from it. But this is not a big deal. It could be used as a training ground for you and the others. Wen Hong moved and left. Lu Baiwei, Gu Chansha, the fourth, and Duke Mei looked at the pitch-black channel under their feet and quickly flew away. They didn't care about others and flew out of the burial ground. I didn't expect Wen Hong's strength to be even higher than I imagined. Even the leader of the Red Cloud mystical sect, the leader of the Nine Swords mystical sect, and the barbarian emperor hiding in the barbarian tribe couldn't do anything to him. I originally thought that his strength was about the same as the leader of the 72 mystical sects of the Immortal Path. He actually surpassed them this time. No wonder Li Wanlong didn't want to fight with him. Marquis Mei sighed worriedly. I have to go back and make arrangements for this matter. Princess Infanta, goodbye. Take care. The three didn't dare to be negligent and bowed back. Seeing Shi Chou leave, Lu Baiwei played with the Haoqian mirror in her hand and shook her head. Today was an eye-opener. Our methods are not worth mentioning in front of those peerless figures. Don't be discouraged. How long have we cultivated? It's just a dozen years. The fourth didn't care. Shaoyan is cultivated for hundreds of years. Let's not talk about anything else. If we cultivate for a few more decades, we can beat him until even his mother can't recognize him. Fourth brother is right. Gu Chansha said, we are at a disadvantage because we haven't cultivated for long. But this time, I have not digested the things that Wen Hong taught me. Why don't the three of us find a place to meditate? I'm used to thinking alone. The two of you can meditate together. The fourth laughed. If there's anything, just go to my fief and inform me. He had also received the Buzhou Dao from Wen Hong and the secret of Zhou Tianyi. He was in a hurry to go back and meditate in seclusion. Baiwei, let's go to my fief and meditate together. Gu Chansha saw the fourth leave and immediately invited him. My fief is guarded by the black tortoise treasure. It's absolutely safe. More importantly, I have cultivated the sun and moon dragon aura, which can help the black tortoise hatch faster. In these troubled times, if a divine beast hatches, it will be of great benefit. Chapter 193. Very quickly, the two of them left this place and headed towards Gu Chencha's land. The damage caused by the earthquake was slowly being repaired, and the area around Gu Chencha's land was prosperous. The 6 1,000-year bone monsters used their Xiantian energy to build things up, repair roads, open mountains, and split stones. They were like 1,000,000 laborers. I didn't expect you to hand the 6 1,000-year bone monsters to Bao Ming. She is actually making use of them. Lu Baiwei looked at the 6 1,000-year bone monsters in the sky. They didn't know what fatigue was, and they did their job well. She couldn't help but praise. Bao Ming is good at governing. I think there are few in the imperial court who can compare to her in terms of governing a country. She is skilled in all kinds of construction, business, governance, officials, military training, and economy. She is a great inspiration to me. If I can use this woman, my fief will be 10 times more prosperous. It seems like she has a high position in Great Wei Dynasty and is someone who can govern many people. Right, I've already found out. Bao Ming is a dragon lord in Great Wei Dynasty. She does have a lot of power and controls 10 lands. She has a few 100 million people. Lu Baiwei said, so many people? Gu Chansha was stunned. She can actually manage all of them. No wonder she is so good at my place. This girl is indeed a talent. Think of a way to make her yield. Lu Baiwei said, Great Wei Dynasty is really huge, even bigger than our god continent. Moreover, their system is a feudal system. There is an emperor, and the other nobles have their own lands. They aren't unified like us. I have arranged for people to run the construction of a land. Don't worry, let's just cultivate. Gu Chensha landed in the castle first. The giant castle and Xuanwu Ocean were covered in purple energy. One couldn't see what was inside from the outside. The purple energy formed a world domain, and even people at Dao Realm 9 Transformation Glass Jade Body wouldn't be able to enter. The 9 magical treasures, the Sea Calming Pearl, the Mountain and Sea Diagram, the Sledgehammer, the Star-Absorbing Pagoda, the 9-Yang Whip, the Dark Fire Lamp, the Blue Wave Sword, the Sunset Bow, and the Shooting Sun Arrow, all of them had their own functions. They absorbed immortal chi and grew stronger and stronger, especially the Mountain and Sea Diagram. It had the ability to confuse enemies and create illusions. This place has become a paradise on Earth. Lu Baiwei also descended and stood in the study. She could see everything in the entire castle. Your fire dates and purple-green immortal peaches ripened very quickly. They're already full of fruits now. In the center of the castle, there was a garden. In the garden, there were purplish-green immortal peaches and fire dates. Even in a spirit-gathering formation, the purplish-green immortal peaches would only bloom once every 30 years, bear fruit once every 30 years, and mature once every 30 years. However, in this place, the purplish-green immortal peaches would bear fruit in just a few months, and the effects were even better than in a spirit-gathering formation. This place was equivalent to the black tortoise's nest. The combination of immortal energy and earth veins was countless times more powerful than spiritual energy. In fact, the purplish-green immortal peach trees had already become spirit monsters and tree demons. The annual income from the purplish-green immortal peaches and fire dates in this garden was probably an astronomical figure. Of course, these good things were only for their own people to enjoy and not for sale. Can you sell me some of your fire dates and purple-blue immortal peaches? I want to raise my family. Lu Baiwei asked. No problem. I'll give you half of the profits here. Gu Chensha was quite generous. In addition, my Dragon Gate can absorb innate stellar energy and turn it into dragon cores, which can directly raise people to geniuses. I already have 2 dragon cores, so I'll give you one. I'll leave the other for my foster son to raise him to a genius. After saying that, Gu Chensha took out 2 dragon cores. They were formed in the Dragon Gate. They were formed by absorbing all of the essence energy of the Thunder Beast King. This is simply a divine artifact. Lu Baiwei put away the dragon cores. My innate stellar energy is endless. If I infuse it into the Dragon Gate, will I be able to create endless dragon cores? If that's the case, won't I be able to turn everyone in my family into geniuses? Logically, that's true, but it's very difficult in theory. You should know that I only managed to condense 2 dragon cores after absorbing all of the Thunder Beast King's innate stellar energy and primordial spirit. The Thunder Beast King cultivated for 100 years and has a huge body. I don't know how much he has accumulated, but he also consumed countless treasures. If you want to infuse innate stellar energy to condense a dragon core, you'll probably need 8 to 10 years to condense 1 dragon core. I became a genius by consuming tens of thousands of kilograms of heavenly dew from the sea-carrying gourd, which turned into sun and moon dragon aura. Gu Chensha knew that it was not easy to condense a dragon core. Otherwise, geniuses would be as common as dogs. I see. You consume tens of thousands of kilograms of heavenly dew from the sea-carrying gourd just like that? Only then did you raise your cultivation level to the 6th transformation. You even turned yourself into a genius. After this explanation, Lu Baiwei understood that injecting astral energy to form a dragon core wasn't a reliable thing. Although your Dragon Gate is a fake, it is indeed a top god artifact. Let's use the Heaven Sacrifice to merge the sea-carrying gourd into the Dragon Gate. When the time comes, we will cultivate and use your dragon gate to circulate our Sciention stellar energy. My intuition tells me that the secret of the dragon gate isn't so simple. Lu Baiwe thought about it and decided on a cultivation plan. Gu Qinsha tapped on the golden talisman, and in just a moment, his godson was at the door. Master, you are actually back. Princess Yuefu is also here. Take this pill. Go get some interlocking twigs and a few other medicinal herbs, Gu Qinsha instructed. The godson went down to get the herbs, and then he retreated to cultivate to refine them. His godson's talent wasn't good either. He was only average, and that was after consuming the tiger wolf pill. Although he reached Tao realm with the help of pills and dew, it was pretty much impossible for him to improve further. Once he became a genius, it wouldn't be hard for him to reach Tao realm 9 transformations. Although geniuses weren't as good as top geniuses, they were still disciples that celestial path sects desired. If a genius was nurtured well, he could do as he pleased in the celestial path and even form a great Tao golden core. The difference between top talent and a genius was insurmountable. After all the materials were gathered, Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe entered the depths of the sun-moon altar once more. 3 blood-colored balls floated in the depths of the sun-moon altar. They were the 3 barbarian kings who were killed by Gu Qinsha. Their souls and essence blood were absorbed, and they weren't sacrificed in time. Lightning Beast King Lei Wusha's essence blood and soul were supposed to be hanging here, but it was absorbed by the dragon gate and turned into a dragon core. Within the sun-moon altar, Lightning Beast King's giant body laid there. Apart from that, there were a few treasures scattered about. The 3 barbarian kings and Lightning Beast King all had their own treasures. They were of high quality and were quite strong. But Gu Qinsha didn't need them, and he could give them to his subordinates. But he didn't have time to worry about all this. He opened his mouth and spat out the dragon gate. It became huge and was as tall as a person. He then tossed the sea-carrying gourd into the dragon gate. His Sciention earth energy had already reached the 7th transformation of the Tao realm. It was tough and soft at the same time, and he could retract and release it at will. He clapped his hands, and the sun and moon dragon energy condensed into runes that were imprinted on the sea-carrying gourd. Instantly, the sea-carrying gourd gave off a huge suction force, and many formations were activated. As expected, it is an ancient artifact. There are so many inconceivable formations, and it can even form its own space. Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe praised. Whoever gets this gourd can inject Sciention earth energy in and store it. It can also absorb the enemy's Sciention earth energy and turn it into one's own. It has similar effects to the Dragon Gate. Because of that, it can be merged into the Dragon Gate and become one with it. Lu Baiwe observed for a long time. Since that is the case, then let's start the sacrifice. I think that the souls of the 3 barbarian kings should be enough. Gu Qinsha had been really lucky recently. He suddenly started the sacrifice. The souls and essence blood of the 3 barbarian kings turned to smoke, and then the branches started to burn too. A streak of light shot out from the sun-moon altar and shone on the dragon gate and sea-carrying gourd. Instantly, the 2 treasures started to merge with one another. With a crack, the dragon gate became much bigger, and a space actually appeared within. Many formations spun slowly, and in the end, they turned into many dragons that breathed. Wonderful! Gu Qinsha was overjoyed and said, "This new dragon gate has completely absorbed the advantages of the sea-carrying gourd. Moreover, the combination of the 2 has even more wonderful uses. It can automatically absorb spiritual energy and turn it into spiritual liquid. Moreover, Dragon Chi is born in the depths of the Dragon Gate and finally condensed into a dragon core. Of course, after the sea-carrying gourd is activated, it can also absorb spiritual energy and turn it into spiritual liquid. It is much more mysterious than the heavenly dragon energy gathering flag." Lu Baiwe said, "You should know that this is from the Buzhou Palace. There are not many treasures in the mystic immortal path that can compare to it. After the Dragon Gate absorbs the sea-carrying gourd, my strength has increased by at least several times." Sha felt that no hero in the world could rival him. But he immediately thought of the ancient god that Wen Hong transformed into and the way he condensed a planet in his hand to smash people. Instantly, he knew that even if he was 10 times stronger, he would not be this person's match. Only the heavenly Tao has the ability to fuse these two treasures. Lu Baiwa looked at the Dragon Gate and said, "I wonder where the Dragon Gate of the primitive universe is." Rumor has it that when the Real Dragon Gate appears, it can make people become born saints. Li Wanlong has seen it. We are not strong enough to see the Real Dragon Gate. Gu Qinsha opened his mouth and swallowed. The Dragon Gate shrank and went into his stomach. It bobbed up and down in the depths of his dantian. He used a bit of Xian Qi, and the innate Gang Qi produced in his body flowed into the Dragon Gate and stored. This meant that his dantian Qi of Qi had expanded by 1,000 times. Moreover, the innate Gang Qi swayed and spun in the Dragon Gate, becoming even stronger and more indestructible. The Dragon Gate had the effect of refining Gang Qi. He sat down cross-legged and said, "Let's cultivate in this altar of sun and moon." It is best to cultivate in seclusion. No one can come in, and it is extremely safe. That is good. The light of the sun and moon shone on us and refined our souls, making our cultivation improve rapidly. Lu Baiwen knew the magical effects of the altar of sun and moon. Chapter 194. This time, the two of them were really focused on cultivating. The Buzhou Palace matter was over, and the two of them knew that if they didn't raise their strength quickly, they wouldn't be able to take control of the calming celestial department. Not to mention, they wouldn't be able to make the celestial path pay taxes, do labor, ascend to the throne, etc. Heaven Talisman Emperor had given them such a heavy responsibility. If they messed it up and became a joke to the world, then not just Lu Baiwe, but even Gu Qinsha would feel really useless. Their Xiantian earth energy circulated in their bodies, and they spun faster and faster. Each time they did so, Gu Qinsha's Xiantian earth energy would become more agile. From Tao Realm 7th transformation, leaving the ground, to 8th transformation, Samadhi True Fire, one had to continuously circulate one's body's Xiantian earth energy, allowing it to circulate as one wished. In the end, it would shake and give birth to a true fire. Giving birth to a true fire represented that one's innate astral energy had reached a certain large success in revolving. Gu Qinsha's sun and moon dragon handle was incredibly powerful, and it contained the Tao of life and death. It could bring the dead back to life and regrow flesh and bones. It was a transcendent spirit medicine in itself, and also possessed a transcendent killing power. For such astral energy to truly revolve and give birth to a Samadhi true fire was thousands of times more difficult than for an ordinary disciple of the immortal or demonic path. If it wasn't for Lu Baiyue's help, after he stepped into Tao Realm 6 transformation, he would have to cultivate for at least 10 years to step into 7 transformation, and then dozens of years to step into 8th transformation. After all, his talent was just that of a genius. As for the ancient sons of heaven, they were all sons of heaven, and their talents were even higher than Fa Wuxian's. With the talent of the son of heaven, cultivating the son of heaven god sealing technique was naturally extremely quick. Originally, for Gu Qinsha to use the sun-moon dragon energy alone consumed a lot of mental energy. But with Lu Baiyue's help, it was as light as a feather. Who knew how long passed? All the acupoints in Gu Qinsha's body condensed a ball of sun-moon dragon energy. The dragon energy turned into a whirlpool. At the same time, in the depths of his dantian, many sun-moon dragon energy formed talismans. They circulated according to the rules and actually turned into a treasure. That magical treasure was the Zhou Tian Yi. The celestial sphere is an artifact used to calculate the future and observe the mysteries of heaven. It's not meant to be used against enemies. However, when innate stellar energy is condensed into this celestial sphere, it can refine stellar energy to a great extent. It can even calculate the weaknesses of one's own cultivation. Lu Baiwe had clearly comprehended the secret within. Rise! Gu Chench's celestial cycle apparatus flew out and rotated between the two of them. Both of them activated their innate stellar chi and circulated it outside their bodies, wanting to bring out the intricacies of the celestial cycle apparatus. With Wan Hong's guidance, the two of them were already familiar with the mysteries of Buzhou Palace, the martial arts of the Emperor of Great Zhou, and the intricacies of Zhou Tianyi. Now, the two of them were digesting these martial arts and turning them into their own. The structure of the cyclic celestial apparatus was exquisite. It was not something that the two of them could form with their stellar energy. However, through their continuous cultivation, even their mental energy had become much stronger. Vast Thousand Mirror. When she reached the limit, Lu Baiyue's body moved, and her stellar energy actually formed the Vast Thousand Mirror. It worked together with the celestial apparatus, and the speed at which her stellar energy circulated became much more agile. Gu Chench's sun and moon dragon energy worked together with her. The profound intent merged into his mind, and his thoughts became clearer and clearer. Creak, creak. The celestial cycle apparatus and Vast Thousand Mirror formed by their Xiantian stellar energy rotated with one another and gave out a grinding sound. This was just formed from stellar energy and couldn't be used to predict the secrets of the heavens. However, during the process, many martial arts that he couldn't comprehend surged into his mind. The martial arts that Gu Chansha learned were really complicated, but he had established a foundation. He used his clumsy fists as a technique to cover all living beings in the world. In the depths of his mind, the clumsy fists were like mountains and the earth, and they were all virtuous. All sorts of martial arts were merged into one, and the theories were transformed to form his own. He could casually use them, and the universe was unpredictable. After this cultivation, he had truly merged all the recent fortuitous encounters into his body. It was perfect, and there were no more obstacles when he circulated his stellar energy. Although he wasn't able to step into the Tao realm, a transformation, Samadhi, true flame, it was just a matter of time. Moreover, Tao Realm 8 transformation was really dangerous, and if he was not careful, he would burn himself. Especially Gu Chansha. His cultivation was purely heaven-defying. You need to be careful. Since ancient times, the Son of Heaven God sealing technique is meant for the Son of Heaven to cultivate. Even saints can't cultivate it. Although you're a genius now, you are far from being able to cultivate this technique. This is what it means when one's morals don't match their position. Lu Baiwe suddenly had an idea, so your cultivation from now on will be like dancing on the tip of a blade. It will be extremely dangerous, and Tao Realm 8 transformation will be your first obstacle. I know that with my talent, it is okay for me to cultivate the Great Spirit God technique. If I cultivate the Son of Heaven God sealing technique, I will be like a 3-year-old kid trying to catch a tiger or a dragon. I will be asking to die. But this is what Father wants. With my talent, if I can overcome all the difficulties and cultivate this technique, then wouldn't I be able to conquer the heavens? There is nothing in the world that is difficult for those who want to. Gu Chansha didn't hesitate at all. Okay, since that is the case, then continue to cultivate. Lu Baiwe said, I have comprehended a lot during this cultivation. With the nourishment of your sun and moon dragon energy, I will reach the 13th transformation. So fast. If you reach the demon and ghost devouring realm, your great god swallowing technique will probably reach a terrifying realm, right? Gu Chansha said, not bad. The grand soul devouring art uses all sorts of formulas to open many dimensional doors. Some of the power within those dimensional doors is very difficult to devour and can't be borrowed. But once I master the 13 transformations of devil and ghoul devouring, my soul will have the ability to devour foreign souls. That's when the true power of the grand soul devouring art can be unleashed. Lu Baiwe knew very well how much power he would gain with each increase in cultivation base. Gu Qinsha also had a deep understanding of the great Tao of heaven and earth and the universe. He knew the concept of multiple dimensions. Within the countless dimensions, there were countless energies. If people could extract and use them, they could change them at will and create things out of nothing. Those who cultivated to an extremely high realm could casually grab and extract all kinds of energy and materials from many dimensions, then refine them into all kinds of treasures, and even create their own grotto heavens. However, to cultivate to such a level, one would be close to a god. Right, when Hong sealed Liloha in space. How are we going to deal with this person? Gu Qinsha remembered that there was still one thing he hadn't dealt with. Liloha, the Pope of the Hell Serpent Temple, held great power, and his cultivation had reached the splitting soul division realm. Although he couldn't split into 3 primordial spirits, he had cultivated 2 primordial spirits, one of which was Li Yaoyang, the peerless genius of the Chongyang Mystic Gate. Lu Baiwei took out the space crystal ball. There were 2 people inside. One was Liluha's real body, and the other was the young man, Li Yaoyang. Of course, he was also the second Liluha. Li Yaoyang, I know this person's name. He was a top-notch figure in the Chongyang Mystic Gate decades ago, and it was almost certain that he could cultivate to the golden elixir of the great Tao. He was someone who wouldn't die for 1,000 years. It's a pity. Because of a moment of arrogance, he was plotted against by Liluha. His soul was devoured, and his body was taken away. Instead, he became someone else's bride. From this, it can be seen that those who think that they are peerless geniuses have the mandate of heaven and will not fall are just deceiving themselves. And I have to be careful. Lu Baiwei looked carefully. What a pity. I think that sooner or later, Fa Wuxian will also become someone else's body, Gu Qinsha said. He is arrogant and doesn't know how to endure. He thinks that he is invincible just because he was born a saint. Don't underestimate Fa Wuxian. The luck of a born saint is far from what a peerless genius can compare to. Lu Baiwei hurriedly said, the distance between a top-notch talent and a genius is difficult to calculate. The distance between a genius and a peerless genius is even greater. As for the distance between a peerless genius and a born saint, it is basically impossible. In today's world, peerless geniuses still occasionally appear. A born saint will only be born when the world changes. But what? Gu Qinsha asked. I'm afraid that the world will be troubled in the future. When the demon stars descend, thousands of stars will descend on the earth. In the future, many powerful figures will be born. Lu Baiwei was a little uneasy. Gu Qinsha was silent. He was someone who was familiar with the history books. Most of the famous people recorded in history, the people who created chaos in the world, were born by sensing the stars in the sky. It was already incredible to have one, let alone thousands of demon stars descending on the earth at the same time. The greatest disaster in history was only the 108 heavenly spirit stars and earthly fiend stars descending at the same time. There would definitely not be thousands of demon stars descending at the same time. Those who were born by sensing the chi of the stars were at least peerless geniuses. Forget it. This is not something we can think about. Gu Qinsha thought for a long time. Father has already made a decision. We just need to be careful in the future and pay attention to recruiting talents among the people. I think Father wants us to establish the calming immortal department. First is to collect taxes from the immortal path to supplement the national treasury. Second, it is to prevent the immortal path from recruiting talents among the people. Talents can only be used by the imperial court. You and I have the same opinion. Lu Baiwei nodded. Thousands of demon stars descending into the world. How many powerful figures will be born? If they can be used by the imperial court, it will be a blessing for the people. If the demonic path and the immortal path sects take them, the world will be in trouble. Talents are number one. Gu Qinsha knew this very well. It's a pity that our supernatural powers are shallow, and we can't predict the mysteries of heaven. If we could know which people those demon stars were born on, we could find them and make a move on them first. We can change their way of thinking and teach them how to rule the world. If we can recruit hundreds of peerless geniuses, we will probably surpass the Immortal Path sections. Hundreds of peerless geniuses. Lu Baiwe smiled. You really dared to think. Even the number one Immortal Path sect, the Black Heaven Earth sect, does not have hundreds of peerless geniuses. Troubled times. Gu Qinsha pointed at Li Yaoyang's body. This is a peerless genius. What should we do? Can we bring him back to life? Impossible, Lu Baiwe said. However, we can only use this Liluha as a sacrifice. It is too wasteful. Even if we devour his primordial spirit and astral energy, we can only condense 3 genius-level dragon cores at most. It is still a waste. Wouldn't it lower the status of an unparalleled genius to become a genius? Why don't we erase his soul and memory and use him for us? Do you have a way? Gu Qinsha asked. I don't, but you do, Lu Baiwe said. You can sacrifice your own blood soul to make this person turn over a new leaf and work for you. The way of the emperor is not to kill. The most important thing is to subdue and educate. I think you subdued Yiming not because of the heart-snatching talisman, but because your sun-moon dragon blood washed away the filth and turned over a new leaf. Chapter 195. Refinement of Sun and Moon. Might of Heaven and Earth. Cleanse the source. Gu Qinsha formed seals with both hands. His blood appeared on the altar as he drew runes. He was using his own essence, blood, and soul to sacrifice to the heavenly Tao, to make people turn over a new leaf. This was the spirit of abandonment. This sacrifice summoned the sun and moon dragon fire and an extremely resplendent light. This sacrifice was called the heart-cleansing sacrifice. The ancient heavenly sons often used this to subdue evil people. ZZZ, ZZZ. The light and dragon fire wrapped around the crystal ball. Inside, Liluha's expression was one of extreme pain. Black smoke came out. It was an evil thought. Gu Qinsha continued to sacrifice, his face slightly pale. More black smoke came out of Liluha's body. In the end, this person's expression turned peaceful, and he was not as ferocious as before. Get out! Gu Qinsha flung the crystal ball out of the altar space. He and Lu Baiwe went out as well. Kacha! The crystal ball cracked. Tu Liluha came out and knelt on the ground, crying. I was wrong. I was wrong. I have sinned greatly. Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe looked at each other. It's good that you know you have sinned greatly. In the future, you can make up for your mistakes by sacrificing yourself for the sake of the world. Maybe you can make up for your mistakes. Your name is Yizheng now. Do you understand? The two of them were not afraid. This Liluha had not been changed by the sacrifice, because now that the two of them worked together, they could even fight against a Golden Dan Great Path expert. Killing this Liluha was not a difficult matter. However, Liluha was extremely strong and held great power. He was just a step away from becoming a Golden Dan Great Path. If he turned over a new leaf, the gains would be greater than dying. Who do you think is stronger between Yuan Shashing and him? Gu Qinsha asked. I feel that in the few times we fought, Yuan Shashing was only half-hearted and did not use his true mystiques. I can't see through Yuan Shashing either, but it's mainly because you stole the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, causing Yu Shouqing's plan to fail on the verge of success. Otherwise, I'm afraid he wouldn't be any less terrifying than Xiaoyan. Lu Baiwe suddenly shouted, Liluha, go back now. Can you bring back the treasures from the Temple of Hell Serpent? Yes. Liluha kowtowed again and again, still crying bitterly. But I have to go back as soon as possible. Anything unexpected might happen if I delay. Since that's the case, you should quickly return. Try your best to bring back the treasures of the Hell Serpent Temple. Kill the experts there and collect their souls and blood essence. You've cultivated a lot of demonic arts. I don't think I need to teach you this. Gu Qinsha said, go. All right, leave this Li Yaoyang body of yours here to avoid any mishaps. Yes, yes, yes. Liluha flew up. As the Pope, he holds great power. He should be able to go back and make some money. Lu Baiwe said, "The 1,000 years of accumulation of the Temple of Hell, Serpent, is no small matter. In the past, the god of hell, Serpent, could still descend with divine might, but now that it's been sealed by his majesty, there's no way to find out that Lalaha has turned over a new leaf. He can take advantage of this vacuum to obtain wealth. Let's see if he can give us a pleasant surprise." Gu Qinsha was somewhat expectant. "Come, help me recover from the sacrifice I just made." The two of them sat down to cultivate again. After a full day and night, they finally stood up. Gu Qinsha once again recovered with Lu Baiyue's help. He discovered that no matter how heavy his injuries were, as long as he and Lu Baiwe intertwined their stellar energy, he could make up for the losses. The Son of Heaven's investiture art and the great massacre god technique had even more mysteries that had yet to be discovered. After completely recovering, Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe stood in front of the black tortoise egg and carefully observed it. Lu Baiwe stroked it for a long time. "I don't know what this black tortoise egg is lacking. It hasn't hatched yet. It's accumulating energy. When the black tortoise hatches, the amount of energy it needs is beyond our imagination," Gu Qinsha said. "But my sun and moon dragon blood and sun and moon dragon's handle can help it." Gu Qinsha and Lu Baiwe had a plan for their cultivation. First, they consolidated the experience they learned in the past few days. At the same time, they circulated their innate stellar energy to the limit. Then, they took care of Allah. Finally, they set their sights on the black tortoise egg. Placing both hands on the black tortoise egg, Gu Qinsha inserted the sun and moon dragon's handle into it. The sun and moon dragon's handle was even more mysterious than his sun and moon dragon blood. This was because the innate stellar energy was formed from the dragon blood in his body. Moreover, Gu Qinsha's sun and moon dragon's handle was dozens of times stronger than the dragon blood in the past. The moment he injected it into the egg, the sounds of earth, water, fire, and wind spread out. The sun and moon dragon's handle could recreate heaven and earth. Gu Qinsha's cultivation had reached the peak of Tao Realm 7 transformation, leaving the ground and soaring sky. He could use the dragon's handle to be both tough and soft. He could do anything he wanted. His comprehension of sun and moon refinement, sun and moon change, sun and moon kill, and sun and moon dragon was much higher than before. Sun and moon refinement's transformations weren't as simple as what Gu Qinsha had shown in the past. In the past, it was blood refinement that allowed living beings to evolve. After cultivating the innate stellar energy, it was energy refinement. If one cultivated it to the extreme, it would be like how the sun and moon formed mountains and rivers. Originally, the Xuanwu baby was sleeping and absorbing celestial energy and earth veins to nourish its body. This required a long time to rest. But Gu Qinsha's sun and moon dragon's handle charged into its body and activated its ancient beast bloodline. The Xuanwu was one of the 4 images and was born like a saint. Its talent wasn't something that humans could compare to. How comfortable! The Xuanwu baby's thoughts spread out. Gu Qinsha saw that the Xuanwu baby was being activated by the sun and moon dragon's handle, and it started to refine the bloodline left in its body. It was like a huge potential was disintegrating. There seemed to be an ice mountain in the Xuanwu baby's body, and Gu Qinsha was the sunlight that started to melt the ice mountain. That potential was like an ice mountain, and if it wanted to melt on its own, the Xuanwu baby would need hundreds of years. The sun and moon dragon's handle charged in and helped it recover its potential. Lu Baiwe saw that Gu Qinsha had used up a lot of energy, so she headed forwards and injected innate stellar energy into his body. How long? Their stellar energy merged and new changes appeared. It was endless and endless. In the depths of the Xuanwu egg, there seemed to be a space-time opening. Gu Qinsha wasn't surprised. Through his mental observation, he had already discovered that there was a space-time maze in the depths of the Xuanwu egg. It was definitely not the size of an egg, and there were many secrets hidden inside. But because of the passage of time, there was no energy in the maze. Now that Gu Qinsha injected the most mysterious emperor's godly ascension dragon's handle, it was the best nourishment. How long? Something inside the Xuanwu egg was activated, and its ability to absorb and release celestial energy increased several times. Gu Chansha used his mental energy to feel that many space-time inside the Xuanwu egg were activated. It breathed in and out fiercely, and celestial energy filled the air like a waterfall. In an instant, the entire room was filled with celestial energy. The celestial energy even started to crystallize and solidify. In the past, Gu Chansha couldn't absorb celestial energy, but now it was different. He breathed slightly, and large amounts of celestial energy rushed into his body and entered the Dragon Gate. After a few revolutions, it turned into Sun and Moon Dragon's handle. Celestial energy was a level higher than spirit energy. As long as he could absorb and refine it, it would be very beneficial to his cultivation. As his dragon's handle absorbed the celestial energy, it circulated throughout his body. Coupled with Lu Baiyue's stellar energy, he activated the space-time inside the Xuanwu egg. Another 3 days and 3 nights passed. Gu Chansha didn't know how much celestial energy he had absorbed. The Sun and Moon Dragon's handle in his body became more and more agile. This kind of cultivation was also a kind of training for him. Although it didn't increase his strength by much, it was very beneficial to the circulation of stellar energy. Countless space-time mazes in the depths of the Xuanwu egg started to activate. Many natural formations formed in the depths of the mazes, and each formation had its own purpose. Suddenly, Gu Chansha found that there were 9 huge natural formations in the depths of the Xuanwu egg that were forming 9 Dharma treasures. The sea calming pearl, the mountain and sea painting, the sledgehammer, the star-absorbing pagoda, the 9-yang whip, the dark fire lamp, the blue wave sword, the setting sun bow, and the shooting sun arrow were the 9 Dharma treasures that the black tortoise was born with. There were 9 space-time on the back of the Xuanwu egg, and these 9 Dharma treasures would automatically form in the depths of the space-time. The internal structure of the Xuanwu egg is really complicated. How can ordinary beasts compare to it? I've learned a lot from various space-time mazes and formations inside the Xuanwu egg. Lu Baiyue also carefully observed the internal structure of the Xuanwu egg in the past 3 days and enriched her knowledge. The inside of the Xuanwu egg wasn't made of flesh and blood, but many space-time mazes. There was a strange energy that was similar to a golden core. A Xuanwu egg had many grotto heavens and worlds inside. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and Xuanwu were the true gods. They were born with extremely powerful strength and stood at the top of all living beings. They represented the 4 laws of heaven and earth. The azure dragon was wood, the white tiger was gold, the vermilion bird was fire, and the Xuanwu was water. The 2 of them saw the laws of water from the structure of the Xuanwu egg. Crack, crack. All the eggshells shattered and turned into clouds that collapsed and condensed. All the deity Qi gathered on a Xuanwu baby. The Xuanwu baby was finally born. The Xuanwu baby was only the size of a fist and looked like a turtle. There were snakes coiled around its body, and there were 9 palaces on its back. Its eyes were bright and cunning. Ha ha, ha ha, it's finally out. Baby black tortoise's body kept moving like a little puppy. It jumped onto Gu Chansha's shoulder, then onto its head, then onto Lu Baiyue's body. So happy, so happy. Why is this Xuanwu baby so small? Lu Baiyue grabbed a few times, but actually couldn't grab it. She was shocked. One must know that with her current skills, she wouldn't fear anyone below Dao Realm Transformation 18. The Xuanwu baby's speed seemed really normal, but she couldn't grab it. That showed how amazing it was. Kong Kong. The Xuanwu baby sucked in a deep breath, and its body grew dozens of times. Luckily, the reading room was huge, otherwise it would have exploded. I can become really big, but the smaller I am, the more concentrated my strength and the faster I am. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.